You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in great spirits because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. And listen, guys, we got some things that are going on right now that we have got to get straight into. There is something that just happened at the Old Dominion University in Virginia. And I hate to start off the show with this, but we have got to get into some breaking news. And then we got a bunch of things going on in Iran that we are going to be talking about as well. But this is what's breaking right now on U.S. soil right now as we speak. And we have got to talk about it. So do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. Hit that reaction button. That'd be greatly appreciated. Go to my other channels, go to my other platforms. If you are watching on those other platforms, please make sure you hit that reaction button. Please and thank you. Also hit that follow button. Follow. Subscribe here on my main channel right here on the Pascal Show on the YouTube channel. That'd be greatly appreciated. We're this close to 300,000 subscribers, y'all. Two. Good Lord. My brain is everywhere. 200,000 subscribers. 200,000, guys. It is absolutely insane. So please make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload. It is random, okay? Or it's breaking news. Please and thank you. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon if you want to support the channel. That'd be amazing. And also, if you want to support even further, go check out pascalmerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys, we have got to get into this conversation. There are some things that are quickly developing or have developed over at this university called Old Dominion University. 2 people have been injured. The actual gunman, the suspect, has lost his life or their life. They have been neutralized. I am just getting all this information right now as we speak as well. So we're going to learn all this live together because I was ready to get with you guys about another topic. Okay. Another big topic about what's going on in Iran. We are going to be talking about that. Trust me, the title is subject to change. The thumbnail is also subject to change because I'm going to try to do all this in one stream instead of just stopping this one and starting a whole other one. That's just a waste of time and a waste of energy. We are just going to go through and we're just going to do the breaking news as we see fit. So here's what's going on. 2 so far have been injured that has been reported so far. The suspect, the gunman, he has been, I keep on saying he, it could be a she. We don't know. That suspect has been neutralized, okay, at this shooting, this tragedy at Old Dominion University. All right. So we're going to get straight into this. Let's see what's going on here. Because like I said, this is all brand new news for me. Okay. So this is all going on in Norfolk. Okay. Virginia. So 2 people are injured and the suspect is unalive after shots were fired at Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia on Thursday morning. Officials said the gunman opened fire at Constant Hall shortly before 10:49 a.m. And emergency personnel responded immediately. So the injured were taken to a local hospital and their condition is not known. So let's take a look at this and see what the heck is going on. Oh, they're finally using stereo. Okay, finally.
Excuse me? Hi. Hi, I'm Aaron. I'm a news reporter for Channel 3. You student here? Gotcha. Oh, did he like see or hear kind of what's going on? Where did he go? Can you get your buddy on him? Okay. Is he the guy over there? Oh, in the purple? Okay. Okay. Thank you for talking with me. Glad you guys are okay. Hello, sir. Hi. I'm Erin. I'm a news reporter with Channel 3. Okay.
All right, we're gonna come back to this, or it's not even live. But as you can see, there's some serious police activity going on right now as we speak. We are going to be checking out some other, some lives here in just a second. But they say, okay, so the university gave their all clear at 12:05 p.m., notifying students that classes had been canceled for the rest of the day. Of course, duh. Okay, students and faculty are asked to avoid the area while emergency responders continue to investigate. So ODU sophomore Logan Hayes told Wavy, or WAVY, he was taking a test when the active monster situation, this tragedy unfolded. He added that the fire alarm went off and he ran out of Constant Hall. He says, I heard a multitude of gunshots go off and people just screaming. So another update will be provided at 12:30 p.m., which, of course, will be happening in about 8 minutes from now, allegedly. So an alert telling students and faculty to follow, run, hide. I think that's fight, not right, but run, hide, fight, I think is the right term. Protocols was sent out to students at the university at around 10:48 a.m. So then the urgent alert was sent out. Active threat reported at Constant Hall. Follow, run, hide, fight. There it is. Protocols. Emergency personnel responding. Avoid the area. So Norfolk. I can't say that word. It's a weird word. But the police department there said officers were at the scene for an active incident. Okay. So again, interesting situation that's going on outside of this area. Let's see. Let's take a look at what's going on here.
Now let's do this because she's been waiting, and I believe she's waiting with the student. Let's bring back in Madison Slagle.
Norfolk.
Madison, if you can hear me, you're sitting there with someone now. Who is this young man?
Hey, Eugene. Yeah, as we were sitting here on campus watching all of this unfold, a couple students stopped us here. I'm with Calvin. Calvin says that he saw a little bit of this encounter before it unfolded inside of Constant Hall. Calvin, do you mind telling us what it was that you guys saw today on campus?
So I was walking from Quoba over past the Starbucks, and then there's like a little altercation going on in front of there, but it was nothing like serious. So I kept on going, and I started walking up the stairs. And all of a sudden I hear like just a bunch of bodies hitting each other, like this loud altercation. And so I finished running up the stairs, right? Because there's somebody running behind me. And then I look over the balcony and there's just like a person in a tan coat curled up on the ground with their backpack on in front of the Starbucks, just laying there. And then there were like police running around, like people were running out of the building because like there was just some like loud noise apparently, but I was right there. I didn't hear any gunshots. Like I was walking up the stairs and then all of a sudden a person dropped. People started running out. There was yelling, screaming, and then we went upstairs and I went and grabbed my girlfriend. We went into the like there was a person inside of the web that's like has a little office. We would hid inside of there with him, and yeah, that was that. I mean, it was just a big like crazy thing because the person was just laying there, just not moving, and I really don't know if they're okay or not. You know, I hope that. And also, I heard from other people that the person who did get shot in their leg was the lieutenant colonel for the ROTC apparently, and there's like a ROTC student who did it because they were I guess they might have been mad at him or something, but. Yeah, it was just a big crazy thing that just happened.
Right. Well, until we get any of that confirmed, you know, that's one thing. Again, that's the word that the students are saying that you've said that you've heard.
Yeah, and a couple other people saw it too that were in there right downstairs with them. That saw that happen. Yeah.
So when this all went down and you heard that tussling happening and you knew it was kind of time to take your girlfriend and go into another classroom or office, were there other students that were doing the same kind of thing?
Yes. The person who actually works in the office, God bless that guy, he came through and grabbed us and said, come in here right now. Like, you know, something's going on. He walked around to make sure everybody was in the room and he closed the door. And there were like about six of us in that room. And so we were all just sitting there waiting, and eventually the police came through and they escorted us out and told us to get out. So,
well, as you were leaving the building, did the police tell you anything about what was going on? Did they give you any inkling?
Nah, their main priority was just to get us out of there as quick as possible. They just told us to get out, and you know, anything that we left behind that wasn't immediately in our hands, leave them behind and get going as quick as possible because it's a crazy situation, you know.
Well, crazy situation, and I'm sure definitely not how you expected to spend your Thursday. But no. You were standing here next to me when we learned that the threat has been, quote, neutralized or is now deceased. And when you're hearing this information, knowing that you were in the same building, what's going through your head right now?
I feel terrible for all the people who had to like see him in person and were threatened by him, you know, like it was a terrifying moment, you know, because to know that happened on my campus, like, you know, hearing it on news and whatnot just feels like a whole world far away, but seeing it happen right here, it's very jarring to realize that, you know, people are capable of doing things like that. You know, people are capable of enacting such violence in a place that's meant for education. You know, I mean, it's really saddening. It's really saddening.
Well, and now.
Very well said. Very, very well said. And I mean, I'm going to be honest, y'all. You already know I've been saying this until, I'm going to continue saying this till I'm blue in the face, but we got enough problems going on in this country, especially these kinds of tragedies that happen all the time. Okay. It's just, we got enough problems here that we need to figure out. You see what I'm saying? Instead of us sticking our nose in other things that are going on elsewhere, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, we got problems here, y'all. And there's people with some severe, deep problems in this country. And those things need to be figured out. And we need to figure out what's going on with this epidemic. That's what I call it. I call it a disease. These school shootings are disease, y'all. And I'm going to keep saying that till I'm blue in the face. Things need to be figured out here before we start trying to become the world police. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, like I said, it's just so stupid. This stuff got to stop. And, you know, again, it's now we're at that age. Now we're at that time where all of our kids, the new generation is all going to be going through at least one experience of some sort of incident. You see what I'm saying? That's literally what it's starting to become like, right? It's very, very sad. It's just messed up. You know what I mean?
Now is a time that you guys are all going to have your arms around each other in support right now. I know that emotions are high on campus. Everyone seems to be a little bit concerned. Moving forward, do you think that you're just going to hold your loved ones a little bit closer this evening?
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking my girlfriend home right now. She, I'm make sure that, you know, I really appreciate her, everybody around me, because easily if I would have been down there, wrong place, wrong time, something might have happened to me, you know, like I was right there right before it happened. So, you know, sorry, but yeah, it's, I hope everybody out there just learns to, you know, like anything can happen at any point. You know, it may seem like it's far away and it's in a distant world, but when it happens in front of you, it's real. You know, you really can get hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you sharing your story with us here and telling us about the moments about when this happened here on campus. I want you to stick here for just a second because Eugene might have a question for you or two. I'm sure he might. But again, Eugene, that's some of the words that you heard from some students who were inside Constant Hall when this threat did go out this today during this afternoon. But again, just heartbreaking moments and scary, but definitely good to know that ODU officials inside the building were warning students and making sure that they were inside offices and protected from whatever threat there was.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like, obviously there was chaos. People were very scared, but then things got like they were able to neutralize this person very quickly, right? Very, very interesting. There's so much going on. We got a lot of news to get into, just so you guys know. So if you guys can, please do me a favor, because we are on this for a little bit, but we have so much going on overseas. We got a lot going on here. There's also a high-ranking military individual that went missing just a few days ago, right around the time that the Trump was like, hey, let's release all the files about UFOs and all that. That particular person is missing now. There's a lot going on, okay, here and foreign, okay, domestically and foreign. So we got a lot to talk about. We're talking about everything today. We are in the world news conversation today for sure. What is that? Okay. So we are going to be talking about a bunch of different things, but let's go to the next one.
We don't have official who these people are. So, Sarah, I see you pointing. Do we have more? Okay.
Yes, Layla has a student who is in the hall who's ready to talk.
Okay, let's go to her then. Layla Cox here with a student who was also inside of that building. Layla, I'll hand it over to you.
Right, Eugene, I'm here with sophomore Jennifer. She tells me she's a criminal justice and sociology major. She was in the hall, and she's just gonna, first and foremost, I want to ask you, Jennifer, how are you doing? I know you and your friend were calling your parents just to let them know that you guys were okay, but a few moments ago it was really, really scary for you.
It was. At the start, I was full of adrenaline, but now I'm more disappointed and more saddened by the whole fact. I just want to cry now.
Right, and whatever you're comfortable sharing, in the hallway, in the hall, what did you hear, or what prompted you to run with you and your friends?
So I was actually waiting for my midterm exam to happen. The guy next to me and I were just standing by when all of a sudden these three people, it was a group of people, started telling the suspect, I assume, to get out. And all of a sudden we heard a commotion. A lot of people rumbling, starting to get up. We looked at each other, the guy next to me, we looked at each other, we started running. And that's when we heard, gunshots.
And I mean, imagine quite a run for you to get here. And I know you've been out here with your friends, why are you choosing to even stand out here during this moment? I know you said you were really worried, but also I imagine you called your family as know they're really worried about you as well.
Yeah, I actually ran from Constant, where the shooting was occurring. I ran to the Chem building. I came back to my dorm. I realized I can't really go back to Northern Virginia, where I'm originally from, because the whole thing is barricaded. But as I said, I'm studying criminal justice, so why not be firsthand experience, where the whole thing is going down.
All right. Anything else you'd like to share about what happened today, or what you look forward to coming out of this situation, as we're seeing a lot of police agents here right now? I know you've been up to date with the alerts shared from Old Dominion University, but anything else you'd like to say, message to the community, anything at this time?
I think it all goes down to being together on such a hard moment. I know that as a campus, we must remain strong, and that I'm actually very, very proud of how quick the situation was handled in regards of ODU PD communicating every update with the students, and as well as surrounding police departments.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. You take care of you and your friend, and be sure to continue to let your family know that you're okay.
Thank you.
Hold on 1 second before she goes,
So that's
Layla.
just hearing
grab
from
her real quick. Hold on,
Miss Jennifer.
Layla, hold it. Grab her
come
real
on back.
quick.
Yep.
Grab her real quick.
Yep. Mhm.
So appreciative for all of these young people who are choosing to share what they experienced. By the way, I want you to ask her, because she's the first person who has told us that they heard gunshots. But I want to hear specifically if she saw anything inside of Constant Hall. I know that she ran, did exactly what she's supposed to
Right.
do, but did she see anything?
Right. So just our anchor, Eugene, just wanted to know if you could reiterate. I know you said you heard gunshots, but did you see anything? If you could recount that.
No, I did not. All I heard was the commotion going on and the gunshots that were going in inside of the building because, as I said, it was down the hall.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's what she had to share, Eugene. But overall, really scary situation for her. Her and her classmates decided that once they heard that commotion, that they were just going to leave. But about how many? Do you recall about how many gunshots you did hear?
They were very faint because it was on the other down the hall on the other side of the building, but it was around 2.
And
Thank you. Just that she said she heard about 2. Now, of course, we're still waiting for this information from police to be confirmed.
I have one more question for her. I'm so appreciative. A lot of us have never been inside of Constant Hall. She was there preparing for her midterm. Can she express to us, explain for those who haven't been inside this building, how large it is and what it's like to be inside of that particular building?
Yeah, one last question for you, Jennifer. Just because you say you have classes in Constant Hall quite often, right? For those that might not know how big that hall is, and what kind of the innings of it looked like, could you kind of describe briefly what Constant Hall looks like? How many levels, maybe how wide, spacious it is?
Yeah, so my statistics class is usually on the left side when you enter through the main part of the campus. It's usually on the left side, but since today we were doing Excel, it was on the other side of the building. There's really big lecture halls at the center of the building with surrounding classrooms on each side, left and right. There's I believe two floors. I'm not really sure. I don't really go upstairs. But yeah, the incident did happen downstairs.
And very large lecture halls. You would say?
Yeah, the ones on the sides are pretty medium-sized classrooms, but the ones in the center are lectures, so they're a lot bigger.
Thank you for that description, Eugene. Anything else we'd like to ask Jennifer before she goes back to call her family?
No, she needs to do that immediately. Let her go ahead and do that and talk with her family. Thank her for us.
Thank you, Jennifer.
For sharing her story. Okay, Layla, thank you for that. As we can see around you. Give us a little brief discussion of what you can see. If you can have your photographer kind of pan around the area there. This is what I was telling people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Earlier.
We'll have Henry show you around.
That's 49th across from you, right? So that's the parking lot that we're looking at currently.
Yeah.
Constant Hall is not that building. It should be, I think, 1 or 2 on the left side there, down this street off of Hampton Boulevard. So I think that's why you're seeing a majority of those officers there. Layla, I'll let you go. What are you seeing that we can't see?
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to say what you might not be able to see, but I think they just walked a little bit down. But we see officers at the top of the parking garage. They've been patrolling side to side, as you could imagine, just trying to make sure anything that they can't see from the ground level that they can observe. We've also been seeing drones fly around. I don't know, Henry, if you can see that up in the sky, the drones that we've been seeing for the past over the past hour or so out here, just trying to make sure that everything that they can cover across this campus can be seen by the several law enforcement agencies we're seeing out here as well. Now, I do want to say we do have EMS personnel out here. We did see a stretcher being carried out, but obviously not quite sure who was on that stretcher or what the injuries were. But it's just been a large response from several agencies, as I've been reiterating. We've seen state troopers, park rangers, Norfolk Police, Virginia Police, Portsmouth Police. And the message that I've been receiving from students is that they're happy. They're really happy for the response time in these law enforcement matters. Not happy that this situation occurred, but to know that once they got that alert around 10:49 a.m. is when I was told they got that first ODU notification. They were glad it was in that speedily amount of time for them to be able to leave from campus and then to come out to see the outskirts of the university crowded by police, firefighters, EMS, crash team as well. They're proud that they can say that the local agencies have come together to make sure that everyone just remains safe, and that, like we've earlier reported, that whoever was the shooter in this case has been neutralized. Eugene.
We do want to go now. We have a phoner right now with a student named Logan who says he was in the building when the incident happened. Logan, can you hear us? This is Aisha Tolliver and Katie Collette with Wavy.
Yes, I can.
Logan, if you can, take me through what just happened.
I was sitting in class finishing up a test, and the fire alarm went off, and we weren't sure what was going on. We saw the students in the hallway just kind of running frantically, so we thought we should wait and see what we should do. And then we determined that we should run. And then as soon as I made it out the building, I heard about a multitude of gunshots go off and just people screaming tragically.
Did you hear any gunfire?
I heard 4 gunshots as soon as I exited the building.
Did you see anyone injured?
I didn't see anyone, but it sounded like people were injured.
You said it sounded as though people could have been hurt?
You could hear their screams from outside the building.
Where are you now, Logan?
I mean, but also those screams could just be people scared, screaming out of fear. That could be it too. I mean, let's not forget that. We don't know. I mean, from what I've gathered so far, I haven't heard anything about anybody receiving any gunshot wounds. The ones that have been injured, but there may have been victims of gun violence here. But let's see what's going on.
I did not, but I heard 4 gunshots. I'm positive.
And when exactly did you hear those? Were you still inside the building and on your way out?
I had exited the building.
Okay, so you were already outside when you heard those shots.
Yes.
Did the shots sound like they were also coming from outside, or were they inside a building on campus?
That I couldn't discern.
Okay.
Which exit did you take? Did you go out the front or the back, or?
I went the one that leads to the quad, so not to the street side. It sounded like they were coming more towards the street side, though.
When you were coming out of the building, I know that police were obviously still responding at that time. What did that look like to you? Did you see a lot of officers already there, or was the street kind of empty at the time since it was just happening?
The response was immediate. They had, drove all through the campus to get there. There was a police outside that was securing us as we came out.
Did the officers say anything to you as you all were leaving the building?
No, they just kind of made sure we were getting away, getting safe, just trying to figure out what was also going on, because I don't think they had a full idea either.
Oh, wow.
Now that things have we're still working to learn a lot of detail.
Hold on. Now I'm reading this off screen really quick, but they're saying 2 people. So the 2 people were injured, were in critical condition and were taken to the hospital. So it sounds like this could very well be them suffering gunshot wounds, just so you guys know. Obviously, the whole thing took place at Constant Hall, which serves as the hub for the College of Business at this university. So, 2 people are in critical condition due to this incident at Old Dominion.
But now that you are in a safe place, how are you feeling, Logan?
I don't know how to feel.
All right, Logan, what
Your
year?
body and...
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you go ahead. Keep talking, please.
Your body and mind just doesn't know how to deal with something like that.
Yeah.
And can I ask, what year are you?
I'm a sophomore.
All right. Logan, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us this morning. Again, we're so sorry that this is something that you're going through. We're going to continue to work to try to find out exactly what happened on campus there, but the information that you gave us was really important and very...
Yeah, this is obviously crazy. No kids, nobody should have to go through this stuff at all.
Zachary Mulder, Zachary, Mulder, Mulder.
Are you a student here?
I am.
When did you start going to school here?
I started in January this year, so spring semester just started.
What were you doing today?
I just left class in Constant Hall, and then I walked over to Web Center to read my book and get a coffee. And as I was sitting, probably about 30 or so people ran in through the front door of Web Center, screaming shooter and gun. So by that time, everybody that was in that center just left straight out the front door, and we ran down the road.
What was going through your head? What was going through your head when you heard people scream shooter and when you saw people start running?
To leave. just to leave. My heart dropped. I didn't really know what was going on. I just know I had to leave immediately. So, and it was pretty scary at that point because I didn't know really what was going on or how close, the threat was. So it was terrifying. I just knew I had to leave from the direction everybody was running from.
Has administration told you guys, students, any information about what happened in Constant Hall?
Yes, we got a update on email about the active threat, but I guess since it's relatively new, we haven't had any additional information. But we did get an active threat alert. Yeah.
And did they advise people to just steer clear of the area?
Yeah, to follow procedure and just basically just hide yourself away and try to lock all your doors.
And you had just previously told me that your next class was supposed to be in Constant Hall?
Yeah, so the class I just left was in Constant Hall, and I have about an hour and a half break, and then my next class is also in Constant Hall. So, yeah, my next class was there.
Have you ever experienced any type of situation like this before?
I have not. I have not experienced any type of threat or anything like that before.
And did you see anyone with a gun? Did you see any shooter?
I did not see any shooter, and I also didn't hear gunshots. So I don't know if the building is very soundproof or something, but I didn't hear a gunshot or nothing. I just saw everybody. They were screaming. So it's all ran.
And what were you doing when you just saw people start running?
I was questioning whether to grab my stuff, but at that time it was just fight or flight. So I grabbed everything I could and just ran straight out the back door.
And what's been going through your mind the past few minutes since you got out of the building?
I'm just happy to be alive, honestly. I'm pretty shooken up just because you never thought it would happen. So I'm just pretty much I'm still adrenaline's flowing. So I guess just anxious. Happy to be alive.
We're glad you're okay. We are working to learn more about the incident, but thank you so much for sharing your perspective. We really appreciate it.
See another one.
Yeah, I'm live at 49th and Hampton here, kind of the epicenter of what happened. We have one person dead, which we believe to be the shooter, 2 others injured at least. I just spoke a couple minutes ago, and we're just going to get an interview right now with a freshman here at ODU, Israel Hobson. Mr. Hobson, what did you see this morning? What did you hear?
At first, I was just taking my midterm. Oh, I'm sorry. At first, I was just taking my midterm, but then I was going to get some food from the web where the first active shooter was notified to be at, and then I went towards Constant Hall because I had no knowledge of it at first. So I was going to Constant Hall to go to my secondary class to get ready to take my second midterm, and then I heard a little bit of, it was kind of like a panic scream, but I was first thinking that maybe it was just like some kids joking around or something like that, so I didn't think anything of it. And then I started to see the panic outside. And as soon as I saw a bunch of people running around and sort of like a panic, I just became an instinct to run as well. So I just sprinted out of there.
What did they tell you about who was shot and who was the shooter? Did they describe those people at all?
The description of the shooter, they said he was a Muslim man. I know he was a student at ODU, but we do not know his classification. And I know one of the people that were injured, that was said was to be injured, was one of the professors.
Okay. Was the information about the description of the shooter, did you get that from professors, or what was the credibility on that information?
That one, I'm pretty sure we did get that from professors, but everything else has so far been from professors. So at the moment, I'm not really fully confirmed on everything, but that's just what we're being receiving right now.
Sure.
Wow.
The response and the reaction from people once this word got around, was it orderly? Was it panicked? What do you think?
I feel like the more information we got, everybody kind of started to settle down, especially with seeing everybody out here that knew it was a little bit more of a safer situation. But it was still in more of a panic than anything.
How crazy is this happening the day before spring break was supposed to start?
I mean, I really wasn't expecting this, especially with the fact that I did plan on staying on campus. So I'm probably going to have to go home now. But it's definitely an interesting thing to happen right before the day we leave.
Crazy, guys.
We got the official.
Hold on. That is just absolutely nuts. Now, somebody who just reacted to this saying, wait. Where did it go? First active shooter. Now, I think what he meant is there was maybe 2 different alerts. I think that's what was going on. I think there was 2 different alerts. And the first alert was like active shooter, active situation, run, hide, fight. And so, of course, then maybe he got a second alert basically about the same shooter, and that's what happened. Okay. No, there weren't two shooters, because if there were, they would have said that by now. Okay. Now, again, you got to take this with a grain of salt. The guy, this is an eyewitness. He witnessed this whole thing. Him saying, I believe this person, happened to be, this shooter happened to be Muslim. Well, let's wait. Let's wait for all the information first, right? But still, nonetheless, it's not good if it is. I mean, no matter what, it doesn't matter if this was some radicalized white man or a radicalized any race person. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, somebody wanted to go out onto their own campus. By the way, apparently, he said that guy was a student at this university. He went to his own university and wanted to wreak havoc. For what reason, we don't know, right? So we got to remember that, like we're just getting one eyewitness's piece of information. We don't know everything. He may have gotten that hearing through the grapevine, etc. So let's wait until we get more information from law enforcement as well. But nonetheless, doesn't matter. We have an ongoing problem here in America, and it has only been getting worse over time. Okay, we all know that. We've been known that, right? So again, this is some very, very crazy and wild stuff. But let's see what this one's all about. Let's take a look.
Confirmation from Old Dominion University around 11:37, but prior to that, we had also received notification. So when you talk about the response time to both of your points, this response was very quick. It appeared from our local law enforcement there. Okay, right now we have Madison Schlegel, who is ready for us there right on campus. Madison, what's the latest and what you've learned?
Hey, Eugene. Yeah, as you can see behind us, we're right now on Hampton Boulevard and 45th Street. And you just saw a couple cop cars that were leaving the scene here. But actually, I want to do this for a moment. So this is Hampton Boulevard. You can see there's one bus, but I want to take you out onto the street. We can do this right now because they've got this road blocked off to traffic. Connor, do you mind just coming right here? And I want to point you this way to where they've got other side of the cop car, Connor. Yep, right over here. Yep, there you go. Okay, so I want to point you that way. And that's where they've got traffic stopped right
Is she having a problem with her cameraman today? Dang.
now. So if you are driving into this area, as you can see, you're going to be sitting in that traffic for a moment. Now, police have given us the clearance to be here to kind of show you these conditions. You saw Layla was a little bit closer down there towards 49th, towards Constant Hall, but we're here towards the outskirts of that where they're turning people away from the area. So again, we've seen those police officers here stopping cars and telling people that they need to turn around, as we've seen extra police officers drive straight down this empty street and right down to where they seem to be investigating down where you saw Layla. So again, right now, what we're seeing is just the mass exodus of students. As we've been told, ODU classes are going to be canceled for the rest of the day today. So we've just seen those students leaving buildings. As we've told you, we've spoke to a couple of those students today too, who said they saw a little bit of the scuffle of what happened. Another student said that they heard a bang inside of the building at what felt like was a loud noise, and then just footprints and stampedings of students leaving that building. So again, the police didn't tell those students anything as they were leaving, but that they needed to be safe. We heard that an ODU faculty member was inside of the building at Constant Hall, grabbing students, hiding them inside of their office and barricading themselves to make sure that they were safe. And like you've said, I think empathy is a big word here too. I think what we're hearing and especially experiencing from these young people is that they want people to understand that they're humans first, that this takes an emotional toll in what they're experiencing. Yes, we have people who might be injured and in the hospital right now, but for a large majority, most of the people in that building were able to say that they were safe after this incident. But again, right now, what we've heard from students is that they're just putting their arms around each other this afternoon in order to be a little closer and just think about the true gravity of what happened on campus today. But in the meantime, traffic along this road here at Hampton Boulevard is going to be closed as those officers wrap up whatever investigations they've got going on for today. Live at ODU's campus, Madison Schlegel, 13 News Now.
Okay, Madison, thank you for that. As you can see, that area completely blocked off for people who are wanting to drive through it. But we did just get this information from the campus of Old Dominion University that they have sent out an all clear notification saying that the emergency at Constant Hall has ended. There is no longer an active threat to the campus community. They're still asking people to avoid that area that is in and around Constant Hall. Again, that is basically Hampton Boulevard. You make that left if you're going up towards like where the naval base is, right? And off of 49th Street. Okay, that's what we're thinking of at this moment, where Constant Hall is currently located. They want people to avoid that area. Mind you, if you're trying to get through that thoroughway there of Hampton Boulevard, you're not going to be able to. So you might as well just go around if you have to travel anywhere that would typically take you through. But the news that we're just getting in from ODU officials is that they have put out the all clear. The emergency has ended, no longer an active threat to the campus community. If you're just now joining us, we can kind of bring you up to speed on how.
Okay, so we already know about that. Let's check out some more eyewitness accounts real quick. This is obviously very crazy. Never a dull moment in America. Am I right or am I right? Let's take a look at this one.
Say they're responding to a shooting at Old Dominion University in Norfolk. An alert sent to students and faculty says that the gunman that was on campus is now dead. We have learned 2 people were hurt in this shooting when the gunman opened fire in Constant Hall. That's an academic building there. And that was around 10:49 this morning.
Fire alarm went off and we all grabbed our stuff. Next thing you know, people were screaming, people were running. Our professor told her to leave our stuff. We got outside to the parking garage, and that's when we got told that there was an active shooter to get as far away as we can. And it was just terrifying. It really was. Everything was just terrifying. Everybody was running. Everybody was screaming. We didn't know what was going on. The week prior, it was just a fire alarm going off or a little drill, and that's what we thought it was. We just thought it was a fire alarm, and then sure enough, everyone started screaming and running.
Did you hear any gunshots or anything?
I heard one, but then after that, everybody was so loud and screaming, you couldn't hear anything else.
Again, we are told that gunman is dead and 2 people at least were hurt. Old Dominion University classes are canceled. Operations on main campus as well canceled for the rest of the day. We, of course, will keep following these breaking situations for you and bring you the latest as it comes.
Yeah, this is crazy. And it's funny because, like, you know, I sit here and say, you know, this is absolutely crazy, blah, 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 blah. But I keep saying this every single time we cover any type of tragedy like this. I just sit there and say the same doggone thing, you know, to the point where you start not saying the things that you're used to saying all the time because you've said it so many times that you just like, it's not being heard, it seems like. You know what I mean? It's crazy, guys.
So again, as Chris was just alluding to, the pace is certainly now in the investigation phase. People are arriving, actually, right off to my right. You can't see it, but the Norfolk City manager just pulled up, Pat Roberts. But back over here, I did hear from some people that you see on the air here regularly on Wavy TV 10 who have offices in there. Dr. Bob McNabb, who does a lot of our economic analysis, he said luckily he was working from home today, but he said his entire office is on the 2nd floor of the building where this took place, and that everyone was barricaded inside of their rooms. We're standing out here, and we just saw a person who really deals with people who are dealing with trauma, and I would like to bring him in here. Mr. McCauley, if you can come in here real quick with Old Dominion University. He's a chaplain here on campus, and you were telling me that you've already heard from some of your students that are inside that building?
Yeah, I have been texting with a few students that have been here and around the area and in the building.
How are they holding up?
Obviously terrified. I mean, this shouldn't be an everyday occurrence, and for these students, unfortunately, they've had to live with this now. It seems twice in a year, just over a year, and so terrified.
Yeah, I mean, your job very much is to comfort. What kind of words are you texting them back?
Let them know that I'm here for them. We have incredible chaplains that are here on campus that are praying for them. We are looking for ways that we can gather students as we get the all clear notice from campus, that students can be together, a chance to start towards healing, to start toward processing, and just be able to pray and to be together.
Yeah, I mean, when did you become aware of all of this?
I was at home I got the ODU emergency alert notification, and got myself back over to campus.
It must be it was a stomach drop feeling really for all of us. I know my photographer and I were saying, we always say when we hear reports of an active shooter, well, hopefully it's a false alarm. It doesn't appear to be that we are fortunate today in that case. So you said you still have students in Constant Hall, though, that are barricaded in a door. Is that barricaded inside classrooms?
As far as I know, they haven't texted me back in just a little bit here, but as far as I know, there's still some students in the building.
All right. Well, we appreciate you.
I mean, this is obviously in the past now. They've already issued an all clear. So obviously there's a lot of people that are, the kids are okay now. But of course, this is just obviously very heartbreaking and very frustrating as well.
Our crews who are now getting in place. If we're good, I can go.
Ambulance that's rolling. Least a dozen different police officers that we've seen on our way here to ODU. Right now, we haven't gotten the chance yet to speak directly with police about what they say that threat is. But right now, we do know that it's centered around Constant Hall. And right now, there's a run, hide, fight alert that was sent out by the university. But I'm going to step out of the way so Connor can zoom in and show you some more of the presence that we see down here. Police have been diverting students away from this area. They have cones blocking off Hampton Boulevard right now. So there's no traffic going either way. They're just trying to clear some of the main people who have been going through. But as you can see, we've got an ambulance that's rolling up. We've got a Portsmouth fire rescue vehicle that just rolled up. So we keep seeing these different vehicles from different agencies from across the 757 showing up here to this threat that has been sent out by an ODU alert that we're receiving. Again, we've seen students in the area with their backpacks that have been leaving buildings. Police have been diverting them from those buildings here on class, but we'll get more word about what ODU is telling students at the moment, as well as what police say is the threat that they're responding to here. But as you can hear, all of those sirens are those units that are here on ODU's campus responding to that threat that was sent out. But live here on Old Dominion's campus, Madison Schlegel, 13 News Now.
Hey, Madison, thank you for your hustle. I got to ask you this. As you look around, if you can have your photographer maybe look around, I see the police presence that's way down there. But are you seeing any people who are maybe standing near you, or it appears, I know they're telling people to go and to run, to shelter in place. Are you seeing anyone outdoors in that area? That's not emergency personnel, police, etc.
Well, I've got a couple students. Yeah, I've got a couple students over here. We've seen some people that are exiting, as you can see right over here. Connor, do you mind panning while I'm talking about it? Thank you. But we see people who are leaving with their bags.
I'm sorry. The shade is real. The shade is real. The shade is real. My Lord.
From campus buildings. If you look over there, Connor, you can see some people leaving from those buildings as well. So again, we don't see any direct students that are inside buildings. Everyone's leaving campus. As you can see down that sidewalk too, we've got a couple officers running down the street here in order to get to where all those lights are down there. You see some people in vests who are now operating traffic and moving people out of the way. And over here at Hampton Boulevard and 45th, we've got 1, 2, 3 students who are just kind of standing here watching the lights and sirens as you guys are watching them here on your screen.
Okay, I appreciate that, Madison. And for those who aren't familiar with Hampton Boulevard, around 11 o'clock leading into noon, and especially right there on Old Dominion University's campus, I have to drive that route every single day to and from work. I don't live far from campus. This is not typically what you would see, okay? It is a very heavily trafficked area, particularly not just with students and people getting up and down, but you're talking about the naval base is just a few miles down that road. You have, people who are getting shipments down. You see another police officer rushing down to the scene. So this is not what you would.
Yeah, there's a couple other police officers who are coming up.
Yeah, I see that there are more emergency personnel coming to the scene there. Okay, I'm trying to also get a gauge. Okay, they're going into that area right now. I don't know if we can get a gauge on anything from their perimeter about maybe their strategy that they're looking at right now. But here's the thing. I do believe, are we Madison, you hold tight, obviously. We're going to come back to you really quickly. Sarah, are we ready to go to Layla, who is also there on the scene? Okay.
Yeah, good afternoon, Eugene, and to those watching right now. We are on the campus of Old Dominion University, where there is an active shooter threat. We just spoke with a few students that said they were making their way to class when they got a notification in the ODU campus system to leave classes and to go away because of an active shooter. One student told us that he was sitting in the web center when he saw everyone dispersing and leaving, so he decided to follow them all to come out and see this active police presence we're seeing right now. I mean, several agencies are out here. Norfolk Police. I've seen park rangers. We've got the Virginia Conservation Police. I've seen some Portsmouth officers as well. We've got fire trucks out here, EMS personnel as well. And what they've been doing is actually going straight forward to that building all the way back there. One of the halls actually trying to diffuse whatever situation we're seeing play out right here. This entire street right now on Hampton Boulevard between 47th, 49th, 46th, 45th, and down there where Madison was is all blocked off right now. The few students we've been speaking with saying that they're not sure exactly what the details are, but they're scared. They were coming to class and then they were told to leave and told to not come back. I spoke with a park ranger just a few minutes ago down there that said that they're just trying to stage this area off so anyone that usually comes down here, whether they're going to class or going to these businesses out here, cannot get down here at this time. Now, I'm going to go over to this gentleman right here. Excuse me, sir, do you work at Old Dominion University? A professor here. And how are you feeling right now with this active shooter that we're seeing take place? I mean, are you concerned?
Maybe I'm jaded. This is so often, but I should say not here. I'm concerned, but there's the university has a complete system and group that focuses on this. So and it's clearly been handled well. Well, in addition to Norfolk Police and everything else. So no, I'm not. Well, I mean, I'm always concerned, but not personally. And I just found out all classes were canceled, which I came to my class and nobody was there. So
Right. And what department do you profess in, sir?
I'm in oceanography down the way here.
All the way down there. All right. So I imagine you're probably not trying to get to campus right now. You're probably
I'm trying to get across campus to get back to my office.
Okay. All right. Well, you
But
be
that's
safe
right.
doing that, sir. And
thank you.
Enjoy the rest. Be safe, and I hope the rest of your day goes well.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
as well.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So that's an Old Dominion University professor we just spoke with. That's actually realized none of his students showed up to class, and he's trying to get to his office on the other side of campus. The police officers are actually letting him go. But for the students that we've been speaking with, do not come to classes at this time. It's just an entire plethora of agencies right here trying to figure out exactly where the target is at this point. And we'll be sure to update you as more information is coming at this time. But for now, if you're in this Norfolk area and you're an Old Dominion University student, please abide by those alerts that you're getting. For now, live in Norfolk at Old Dominion University, Layla Cox, 13 News Now.
Okay, Layla, thank you
Wow.
so much and for hearing from that.
I mean, shoot, that's crazy, right? Yeah. What's interesting is, of course, that teacher, definitely a teacher. Couldn't you tell he was a teacher? Just how he was talking, how he was like addressing, you know what I mean? How he was holding himself. And I was like, oh, that is a teacher. That is a teacher right there. But yeah, he was just like, the fact that he was like, I'm just so jaded by all this. Clearly, it's like, this is something that happens a lot, right? This happens a lot. This is not just a random thing that just happens every once in a while. It happens a lot. And yeah, I'm not surprised anybody being jaded by these shootings. It happens too often. We just talked about one just a few days ago. Did we not? Last week? Right? So again, it just they happen way too often, y'all.
Professor there giving us some.
Oh, and Madison, Miss Madison down there, the reporter Madison, okay, Maddie, she got some sassafras. She got some feelings about this Connor guy. She has some hardened feelings about Connor, the cameraman. Damn. Okay, the way she talking to him, damn. I'm like, woo. They have history. You see what I'm saying? They got history.
context that students weren't in his classroom. Obviously, they're telling people to avoid the area. And we learned from him that that classes have been canceled, which we could imagine was possibly going to happen. Another thing that I'm noticing there behind you, Layla, we knew that Norfolk police would be there, ODU police, but that appears that they're also getting assistance from Virginia Beach police as well. It looks like we're getting some other departments who are helping them on the scene at the moment. Okay, I want to jump from you, Layla, back to Madison Slagle, who has something new for us as well.
Okay,
Layla,
Maddie.
I'm told that you have somebody there with you to talk with. Oh, yeah, Madison. I'm sorry. Madison, let's go to you.
Hey, yeah, Eugene. Since we saw you last, we grabbed a student. This is John. He's standing with me. John tells me that he was in Constant when they got that alert. John, do you mind telling me a little bit about what was happening in class when you guys heard that alert?
Yeah, well, it was just normal class, and then suddenly there was kind of a thud, and then a tons of running down the hallway and screaming, and then the fire alarm went off, and then it was just a bunch of movement, and it kind of felt like a fire drill. And then we got outside and someone yelled that it was an active shooter or something like that. And we all kind of like ran out of there.
So you said that people were running. What was going through your head when the not excitement, but the kind of danger that flashed through everybody's head kind of started to set in?
Yeah, honestly, I was just hoping that the people that were involved were all right and that it would all settle out. I mean, I wasn't worried about myself. Like I know where I'm going if I'm leaving, so it's no biggie, but just hoping that everyone else is okay.
Right. And so this is just a typical Thursday for you guys here. But unfortunately, this kind of massive event has now happened. Hopefully, we're going to learn more information from police about what exactly has happened. But seeing this kind of action on campus, is this something that you've never seen before?
Yeah, not something I've ever seen, not something I've ever witnessed at all, definitely.
And seeing this amount of police here right now, are you a little maybe struck by the amount of officers and police officers we keep rolling up?
Yeah, definitely. I was very surprised that but it's good because they're here to protect us and take care of us. And so that's a good sign that we've got this many people watching our back.
And when you were leaving that building, were officers telling you guys anything specific as you were leaving, aka anywhere to stay away from? If classes are going to be canceled for the rest of the day, anything like that?
Yeah, I hope classes are canceled because I got 2 midterms to take. So that'd be nice. I wasn't getting any notifications about that so far, but just to stay away from Constant Hall, which is where it happened.
So that's the only thing that officers were kind of saying, just to stay out of the Constant Hall area?
Yeah, out of the off campus, really.
Okay.
As much as possible.
Perfect. Well, we appreciate you stopping here and chatting with us, and we want to make sure that you check in with your family as well and make sure that you let them know that you're okay. But in speaking to some of your classmates right now, have they been calling their family members to make sure that they're okay? Let them know?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate you taking a second here to chat with us and answer a couple of questions. Obviously, this situation is very fluid. We don't quite know exactly what police are exploring right now as that threat. You can see the officers and lights still behind us, but we'll be sure to check back in with you guys in just a little bit as we learn more information.
Madison, thank you for that. I want to, is he still near you at the moment? Is he still there? I'd like to bring him back in if you can. And you thanked him, and we appreciate him taking the time.
So he's like the black JB Bueno, WFLA. Shout out to WFLA. Okay, all right. Just shout out to my boy JB Bueno. But he's like that's like what they're doing over here too. He's got his spot. Everything's live streamed. He's doing the breaking news coverage and everything, kind of just like WFLA, right? They might have torn a page out of JB Bueno's book. So shout out to my boy JB. But that's very interesting, right?
Time and talking with us. But if he can go back just to the moments that happened inside.
We're going to ask you another question.
He was inside of Constant Hall. The moment, what did he hear exactly, or was it more he just saw things? Just if you can get him to clarify just a little bit about his experience that he saw there inside of Constant Hall.
Yeah, I'll definitely ask him again. And again, he told us that he heard a little bit of a bump, but do you mind just one more time for us, just telling us what you heard when you guys got this alert?
Yeah, I mean, we were just in class. It was a normal Thursday, and then there was some kind of noise, and then lots of running, lots of footsteps down the hallway, like a stampede of elephants, like down the hallway. And then the fire alarm went off, and it was just loud and buzzing, and that's about it. And then, you know, we got outside, and someone yelled, like, there's a shooter on campus. And so we kind of, everything got blurry from there.
Right. Well, Eugene, you heard it there. Again, footsteps and stampedes of people running out from the building. So that's kind of what he was hearing here on the floor.
Whoa.
Yeah, and you imagine, I appreciate the lineup.
Whoa. We got some more breaking. What in the hell is going on? We got another. Whoa. We got some more breaking news, guys. Breaking news coming out of a completely different area, not in Virginia. This is all coming from Michigan. Hold on, guys. This is insane. This is also insane. What is going on with our world? Another active shooter, guys. Another active shooter in Michigan right now as we speak. Breaking news, okay? Oh, my Lord. Hold on. Breaking news. Got to put up the breaking news banner. Brand new news. This is absolutely insane. Now, I don't know if this is actually 110% true. It might be a false alert. Maybe it might be a false alert, but they're saying active shooter alert issued at West Bloomfield Synagogue. So an alert about an active shooter situation near the Temple Israel Synagogue in West Bloomfield Township was issued today, urging residents to avoid the area and shelter in place. The synagogue is located in 5725 Walnut Lake Road. We are aware of an active security incident at Temple Israel. Law enforcement are responding. Our Jewish agencies are currently in precautionary lockdown. We ask community members to stay away from the area at this time. This is what the Jewish Federation of Detroit said in a statement. All nearby schools and houses of worship have been told to shelter in place while police respond. Officials urged the public to stay away from the area and said more information would be released as it becomes available. Nearly a dozen agencies rushed to the scene, including state police, West Bloomfield, Farmington Hills, Clawson, Auburn Hills, Birmingham, Birmingham and Pleasant Ridge Police. So another active shooter going on. What in the hell is going on here? This is all breaking news right now as we speak, y'all. My Lord. What the hell is going on? I'm going to try to see if I can find any information about that. Give me just 2 seconds. Stand by. Stand by, everybody. Another active shooter situation going on as we speak. What in the hell is going on? What in the hell?
Have to learn how to navigate in a world with this much hate.
What is going on?
Right. I can. That's a really good question and a really hard one for me to answer. I mean, never.
I'm going to roll it back just a little bit. Oh no, this is only a few seconds old.
Our identity, and I know that in Jewish day schools, temples, synagogues,
Remember just the other day? Was it yesterday or the day before? Remember the shooting that happened outside of 2 synagogues? But it was a domestic dispute. It was a domestic situation. Remember that? Remember that, y'all? Okay. What in the hell is going on here? Hold on. I'm trying to get as much information as I can because this is all breaking as we speak. Allegedly, a car crashed into a temple. Hold on, I'm getting
this active.
Hold on, give me a second, okay, guys. Give me a second. I'm trying to get as much information as I can right now.
Scene is specifically at Temple
Breaking
Israel
news
in Michigan, right?
Breaking news. Again, remember what happened? Yeah, Messi, I was just saying that. A car crashed into the synagogue. What in the hell is going on? So we got some breaking news, guys.
So we did want to share that with you, according to our Fox 2 Detroit team.
What the hell?
Walnut Lake Road. That is where the scene is, and this is in West Bloomfield. So we're going to raise the audio and listen in to our Fox 2 Detroit team.
Right above this airspace.
That does kind of explain why Skyfox was moving away from the scene. The last images we saw from Skyfox before the chopper had to evacuate the flight zone, the area, airspace above what is Temple, Israel, was more emergency vehicles arriving. Initially, we saw at least a couple of police cars. We saw one EMS truck, one fire truck, but then at the end, I had counted 5 police cars before Skyfox was on the way out. So it did appear that there were more officers arriving on the scene.
So a little bit of information that we do have, West Bloomfield schools, Bloomfield Hills schools are in secure mode due to this situation. Also, the no-fly zone is why our chopper shot was interrupted. We had to move away from the scene just to clear, because that's what the authorities are telling us to do. Also, Jewish organizations throughout Metro Detroit, I believe, are in a protocol to be cautious of this situation as it continues to develop. Now, when a situation happens like this and our country is in the middle of conflict like we are, it is going to have national ramifications with what is happening at that synagogue in West Bloomfield right now.
Yeah, what I think is going to be a big question answered is there a connection to what we're being told is an active shooter situation and all that smoke that we saw?
Right.
I mean, your brain can try to connect the dots in many different ways, but what was initially told to us is that there's an active shooter situation at Temple, Israel. We got a live shot of it. We started seeing smoke billowing from out of the roof in 2 different spots.
Why aren't you showing it then? Why aren't you showing it? Give us the info, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Hold on. So I don't mean to be yelling at the news like they can hear me, but it's like, show us the damn info
every Thursday. So
what the hell is going
making
on?
a connection that it is some kind of food.
Here we go.
We want to help heal the world. I mean, that is part of who we are.
Hold on, guys.
And
I'm rolling it back a little bit so you guys can see. Check this out.
We want to help heal the world. I mean, that is part.
I don't mean to pause this, but I need to pause this really quick. Sleeper cells activated? Maybe, you think? Sleeper cells activated? You think? Now we got active shoot. Come on, man. A whole other man. Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm praying for everybody right now. Every single last one of us right now. Okay. This could be nothing, but you got somebody who crashed into a synagogue and then opened fire immediately afterwards. I'm going to play a little bit of this and I'm going to give you guys some information off screen. So this is breaking right now. An active shooter at a synagogue. It happened right after the shooter's car crashed into the side of the synagogue. And then this particular person opened fire. We don't know if it's a he or she. We don't know if it's multiple shooters or not. But this is not good. This is no bueno, cabron. No bueno. No bueno.
Of who we are. And the Jewish community works to do that.
I'm gonna mute this, but you can see the smoke billowing out of the top of the building right there. So something is definitely afoot over there. Emergency vehicles you can see in the top left-hand corner right there. They're all on their way over there trying to figure out what the hell's going on. This also makes me reminds me of, wasn't it a Mormon church? I don't remember where it was exactly, but remember the Mormon church, the guy who was just insane, like an insane shooter, piece of trash, crashed his car into a I think it was a Mormon church. I think it was, right? And he opened fire. He crashed in and then he lit the whole place on fire. You guys remember that? The whole place went up in flames. The whole church. That happened like sometime last year. Remember that? And everybody was trying to figure out if he was like hardcore Trump supporter or if he was some, radicalized lefty. And it was just some crazy stuff. But you remember that? But this is all breaking right now as we speak. So let's look at this and see what's going on. Okay, give me some grace, guys. I'm going to try to get as much information because this is breaking right now in real time.
I could walk to Temple, Israel from where I used to live. I mean,
Jesus Christ.
This is very personal and heartbreaking.
And your kids were bar mitzvahed here as well? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah,
that?
they were. Yeah, they were. I mean, we have so
Jesus.
many.
Okay, so I'm reading this off camera, off screen. You guys can see the footage, what's going on with the active police response right now. Emergency, first responders, everybody's over there right now. Okay, police are called to active shooting after car crashes into Jewish synagogue in West Bloomfield. So Michigan State Police said an active shooting incident happened today. Okay. At the Temple Israel, near the intersection of Walnut Lake and Drake Roads. Sorry, I'm like editing while I'm reading this because there's a lot of information in here that we don't need to know. Okay. So police sources believe a vehicle intentionally crashed into the building and then caught fire. The smoke at the scene is from the car fire. No information about possible injuries have been revealed. Schools in the area are on lockdown. We have been alerted by the West Bloomfield Police Department of the situation. So schools are all on lockdown. People have been alerted of the situation of this police situation in the community. They have confirmed officers from multiple counties are there. And if you didn't already know what a synagogue is, or what Temple Israel is, it is a Jewish synagogue that has it has a preschool. It has a preschool and a large congregation. I hope there's no kids in there. Police have asked everyone to avoid the I hope there's no kids in there. I really hope there's no kids in there.
Beautiful place of worship and community.
Now, as we go back to live pictures, this is our Fox 2 chopper here, our chopper shot. You can see live pictures of smoke still coming out of the building. Earlier,
You know, I might be watching I don't know, I'm seeing a different picture, but I have not seen that yet. Wow. Oh my gosh.
You might be on a delay as live TV happens, how it happens, Carolyn. We appreciate you taking the time, and maybe stay with us for a second, but we did see a large presence of people walking. You can see right there on the street. I'm not sure if that's Walled Lake Road, just east of Drake, maybe where they are.
That would be Walnut Lake Road.
Walnut Lake Road, yeah. And you can see a huge police presence.
Hate to pause this, but I'm going to ask this question. I'm going to let it roll. But I'm going to ask this question. Could this be in retaliation of what happened in Iran with that school full of little girls? Could this be in retaliation of what happened in Iran with that all-girls elementary school where 175 students and staff lost their lives? Could that be? Think about that for a second. I hope to God there's no kids in there. I have no proof of that. That's why I'm asking the question. I'm just asking the question. But this is a serious, serious situation right now. As you see, this officer getting fully suited and booted. What in the hell? Why are you getting suited and booted, baby? I guess the active situation is still very active. And this is as of 3 minutes ago, because we're not even live right now. This is three minutes ago, him getting all suited up. I'm going to unmute. I'm going to get some more information, guys. Just like I said, grant me some grace.
Carolyn, I want you to hold tight and listen to this for a second, because we're getting information that parents are now trying to come to the scene and pick up their children, their loved ones. Lee has mentioned we had word of an active shooter. We also saw fire crews on the scene, and it looked like there was smoke coming from the building in several different places. And then producers, if you don't mind to confirm for me again if that car into the building is confirmed, because that certainly would paint the picture of a more coordinated attack. And now we have this statement from Michigan State Police, and it says Michigan State Police are aware of an active shooting incident that is ongoing in West Bloomfield. We're asking for community members to stay away from the area and to allow the police response. Troopers are also increasing patrols at other places of worship in Detroit as well. So this goes back to everything that you were saying earlier about what it feels like to just be minding your own business in a place of worship, and to have something like this happen and potentially just rip communities apart, rip families apart. Now that this picture is coming into clearer view, Carolyn, and it does appear to be something very sinister here, what are your thoughts and feelings?
Oh, I'm just looking at all of the fire trucks and police trucks and the FBI. And it's just such a surreal thing to think that so much love and passion and community happens in this beautiful, beautiful temple. And I don't just mean physically beautiful, I mean spiritually beautiful rabbis and clergy and camp and staff who care so much about one another and about the world at large.
Carolyn,
and I just can't believe what I'm looking at.
It is hard to believe as we all live through this together. I do want to ask, we're getting a report that parents are trying to get to this scene. Is there a school in this facility? Is there, would there be kids in the facility on a Thursday afternoon that you may know of any function that would happen at the synagogue? And I know I'm putting you on the spot, but you're closer to the synagogue than I am and closer to that area. But I don't know if there's a school on that property, a daycare on that property inside of there as well.
Well, there is a preschool, and again, I don't know the hours of that preschool, but I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Carolyn,
if I could jump in, because this is something that I was kind of digging into, because I think that this is a massive part of this story. Yes, as far as what their website shows, there is childcare happening right now. They have a childcare program, an early childhood program, and a kindergarten program. There are two different times. One of them goes from 9 a.m. till noon. That would have ended maybe slightly before the incident. But there's another one that goes from 9 a.m. till 2:30 p.m. So 2:30 in the afternoon. That is a Monday through Friday program for an early childhood center for childcare. And I imagine that some of those reports that we are getting right now of parents rushing to the scene are probably parents of those kids that are still there in that program.
So I'm sure, and can you only imagine the fear that those parents are feeling right now? Oh my gosh.
Okay, Carolyn, we're going to say goodbye to you for the moment. Thank you so much for calling in and sharing with us your perspective. It was incredibly impactful as we continue to watch this unfold. We're now going to bring in Mike Harville, who is a security coordinator at Kensington Church. Mike, are you here with me? We're going to give Mike a few seconds to connect. Can you hear me? Yes, we can hear you. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing well, thank you.
So you're a security coordinator at Kensington Church. If you've had a chance to look at our live pictures, we have seemingly every agency on the scene. We've seen police, we've seen FBI, we have fire crews on the scene. There's smoke billowing from the building in 3 different places. Word of a car. I do believe we just got to look at the car into the building. And Michigan State Police are now saying that there is or was an active shooter situation as well. So with your security expertise, what do you believe would be the process to secure the scene, and what do you think is happening right now on the ground?
Well, from what I've been able to see, because I've been watching your live feed, they're going to be securing the entire building and making sure they get everybody out safely. They're going to be going through, making sure that they've stopped any possible threats. If there's anybody else in there that could be a threat, they're going to want to make sure that that's been stopped. And then they're going to look for any wounded, and then make sure all the wounded get treated. Right now, we don't know if there is any wounded yet, but we're hoping and praying there are not.
Mike, right as you were hopping on with us, we saw a group of what appear to be civilians. If I had to guess, it might be parents. They were being patted down by law enforcement, and it looked like they entered the building. Is there a scenario in which part of the building would be secured? Maybe that's the part of the building that has we're seeing what looks to be a parent run up right now. Yeah. Would they let the parents in if the childhood center part of the building was safe?
That very well could be. I am not in law enforcement myself, so I can't speak to exactly what their decision would be on that, but that is a great possibility because they're going to want to be able to get those kids out of there safely. And the best way for a child to leave in a situation like that is with their parents. Mm-hmm. So if
Be
they
right back,
secure
guys.
the building,
2
they
seconds.
feel that there is no longer a threat, then checking the parents, allowing them in to get their kids and get them out of there is probably what they're working on right now.
Mike, I'm curious how your job has changed over the past few years as we seemingly have more and more attacks on sporting venues and synagogues and places of worship for all faiths. Can you just take us through a day in the life for you? How are you tasked with keeping people safe when there seem to be threats coming from so many different places in today's world?
I've gotten busier. We'll put that, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And we do more training. We do active shooter training with our staff, with volunteers. The program that we use is one that was developed by law enforcement. It's called React ASAP. It's a quick, easy course to go through, but it gets a lot of repetition, so you learn the concepts very well. So that's what we're doing to make sure that people have that they're empowered to handle a situation should it arise. But we're making sure that we're being vigilant, keeping an eye on everything, just trying to make sure we keep everybody safe.
Mike, as we're watching the live footage, as somebody that has a career in this, are there any things that we can look for that would be good signs, that would be silver linings, or things that you would see that would say this is moving in the right direction?
Well, so when you're talking about silver lining, if you don't see much activity with regards to ambulances, that is an indication there's little or no wounded, and which is a huge positive. The building can be replaced. The lives cannot. Mm-hmm. And so if everybody is getting out of there safely, in my mind, we won.
Yeah, Mike, real quickly, before I ask you my next question, we did see some police presence from Oakland County. It looked like Sheriff Michael Bouchard walking through the parking lot is who we saw. And so when all these different agencies from federal to state to local come together with the security that's already on staff and in the building, how do they all come together to secure a situation like this, Mike? Maybe you can give us an idea of what the protocols they're walking through right now, Mike.
Well, there's a system that's in place, that's a national system that was put in place after 9/11. It's called the Incident Command System. And whenever there's a major situation like this, there is an individual that is the incident commander. Mm-hmm. And then certain individuals are given different responsibilities, and those responsibilities have already been spelled out on who would do or what responsibility roles need to be filled. And then the commander assigns people to those responsibilities, and everybody has their role to play. And so there is a structure system. Like I say, it's called the Incident Command System.
All right, Mike, we're going to let you go here. Thank you so much for your perspective as a security coordinator at Kensington Church. You definitely helped paint a more clear picture of what we're looking at here on the ground as several agencies come together. Yeah. We see people hugging here, just such an emotional time. Mike, thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
That looks like their kids are okay, I think. The way that they hugged each other. But let's hear more. I'm going to try to get as much information as I can. Okay, give me a second, guys.
Just got here, and I'm hoping to get a little bit closer after this next live shot. But let me tell you what we can see. I'm zooming over right now, Brian Paninsky, to see this is right here, all of the police you see. We have been hearing sirens and seeing cars the whole way. We were coming here from Detroit. This is as close as we can get right now, but I think that once we get done with you, we can get closer on foot. But I wanted to show you this right now, what it looks like. Police still arriving. Obviously a very active situation. I do not know how many people have been hit, if any, but we know that this is an active police situation right now. I see Waterford police. There are literally police from all over here. More showing up right now as we speak. I think that we may have lost our signal, but I don't know if you can still hear me. I just want to tell you that that's what's going on. But we want to tell you that we've got crews all over the area, and we've got crews closer. We just happen to be coming from Detroit, and that's why we just arrived here, but we're going to work to get closer. The sound that we were hearing in our ear was actually for, I didn't know if we still had the signal, but for an emergency alert for everyone to stay in lockdown. All schools, all synagogues in the area are on lockdown right now. We ran into a photographer who was actually going to his kid's school, a photographer from Fox 2. His children go to school nearby. They are on lockdown. So that is a situation, a very, very fluid situation right now from where our vantage point. Again, just to show you the look of all the cop cars that are here with sirens, obviously at the scene. And again, we're going to work to get closer. But again, this entire area locked down, people being told to avoid this area while police work to do their job. Marielle.
Camille, this is Derek Hebert. I got a question for you. As somebody, you have so much experience with scenes like this, with emergencies. Have you ever seen a police presence like the one that you're seeing right now?
No, I mean, obviously Oxford, and I happened to be off that day, but I was watching it all unfold and was going to come in, but they said no, we had enough people. But right now, this is the kind of thing we're seeing. This is the kind of thing like Oxford, that many people here, that many cops. We're going to work to get closer, and we'll be closer next time we see you.
All right,
I'll send
Camille,
it back to you.
This is Lee. We'll let you guys go and do your jobs. We appreciate you coming live with us. But right now, we have Eric O'Neill, former counterterrorism and counterintelligence operative with the FBI, who is on with us now. First of all, Eric, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, we see a huge police presence. You perhaps have been watching the video and the information that we've been able to gather so far. What are your initial thoughts of what exactly is happening here?
Well, an active shooter situation is something that you never want to take lightly, particularly with the current known threats by extremists who are unhappy about what is happening in Iran right now. And the fact that it is a Jewish synagogue and the known threat between Islamic extremism and
2 seconds, guys. Be right back.
Synagogues are something that clearly law enforcement is not taking lightly at all. And anytime there's an active shooter, you're going to see this sort of reaction.
Now, there is a huge presence of multi-agencies here. Maybe you can walk us through the protocol and who has jurisdiction and what exactly is happening on the ground as we watch parents show up. We watch different agencies head in and around the building. What can you tell us about exactly the protocol of what's happening?
Well, typically in an active shooter situation, local law enforcement are first on the scene. Normally there's a call to them with a 911 call. They come on the scene and they will move quickly to try to interdict the shooter if possible. It really depends on the situation or whether the shooter is continuing to shoot, whether they're holed up somewhere, whether they know where they are.
I hate to cut you off and jump in here, but we're looking at pictures and it looked like an armored vehicle as well as emergency vehicles going in. I can add that to the conversation as you talk about what's happening.
Yeah, certainly. And so just depending on the threat, and we, from the videos and from what we know, we don't know enough about the threat to really opine on it. That would suggest whether there is additional layering, whether, how fast SWAT can get there to move in, what is the risk to
cannot be completed
civilians and innocents.
Please consult your directory and call again or ask your operator for assistance.
Respond
this is
and
a
move in
recording.
and take that shooter down, because that is the #1 goal.
Eric, if you can hold on for a second. You're still with us. We can still hear you. We're just having some technical difficulties as we try to clean up our audio line so we can hear what you're saying. We're talking about the armored vehicle. We kind of lost you a little bit there. Maybe you could go back and you're talking about how different agencies have different protocols. Eric, are you still there with us? Please go on.
Yep, I'm still here. Local law enforcement will usually be first on the scene. They might ask for assistance. A SWAT team will normally come in order to try to neutralize the shooter. Obviously, the number one concern for law enforcement and any of the agencies who might be on the scene, and I can't tell you who is there or why, as we just don't know enough, is to protect lives and to safeguard those who could be innocent caught in the crossfire of an active shooter.
Eric, this is Marielle Liu here. I did want to read to you this statement coming in from Cash Patel via FBI Detroit. It says, FBI personnel are on the scene with partners in Michigan and responding to the apparent vehicle ramming and active shooter situation out of a Temple Israel synagogue in West Bloomfield Township. Earlier today, while we were watching this unfold, I did mention because of the different elements between fire in the building, word of a car ramming into the building, and then an active shooter, that certainly looked more like a coordinated attack. Can you speak from your perspective now, knowing that there is a vehicle rammed into the building and an active shooter situation, what that might indicate for what type of attack we're looking at here?
Well, certainly, I would suggest or suspect that it is, and is being treated as an act of terrorism, especially if the FBI are immediately involved. It certainly seems to have a lot of the hallmarks. The vehicle rammed into the building provides a point of entry, and then you have an active shooter. I can't tell you, and I'm not sure if the reporting has suggested that shots are still being fired or if the shooter has been neutralized. But the fact that the FBI was on the is a good thing. That means that they're giving all the support to local law enforcement that they would require in order to handle this as quickly and as safely as possible.
Eric, the fact that we've gotten confirmation from the director of the FBI, Cash Patel, the fact that there are this many law enforcement officers on scene, the fact that the FBI is involved at all, in your professional opinion, would you say that this is not a coincidence that the largest Reform synagogue in North America, in one of the greatest Jewish population cities in the state of Michigan, would you, I don't want to make a connection, but would you say that that's not a coincidence?
I don't believe in coincidences. If you look at what's happening in the world,
I feel like that's safe to say.
Different reports from the FBI and other intel agencies that Iranian extremists are active in the U.S. Now, this is everything from potential threats to citizens to cyber attacks. And there have been, a number of different statements from the FBI and others to take caution and make preparations. There has been a rise in violent extremism here in the U.S. for some years. And often what these either lone wolf individuals who are activated themselves or by extremist cells. All they need is a triggering event, and the war or the military action in Iran is certainly one of those triggering events that could cause individuals who are sympathetic or active extremist cells to start to take action. And we know that Iran wants to hurt us. And there are only really two ways they can do it. These sort of things here in the U.S. And cyber attacks, which they're very capable of doing as well.
Eric, I want to hang on that point. You said something that a lot of people are feeling and perhaps doesn't get enough conversation where there needs to be. You talked about the rise in violence here in the U.S. From your perspective, can you go deeper and just explain how has that change affected your line of work? What do you see? I mean, it's not just fear of Iran and what's happening. There's been a rise in white supremacy as well here in the U.S. So when it comes to counterterrorism, there are so many different elements now, it seems you have to look at. It's not necessarily just attacks from other countries. It's right here at home.
Certainly, and the biggest concern is not a group of Iranians who snuck in. That is a concern that somehow moved through our border and are operating as terrorist cells here in the United States. It's actually homegrown terrorists that are a bigger concern. People who can be radicalized online. In the advent of the internet and making a big world very small allows people who may never have had those proclivities to find people who will help them radicalize in that process, whether they have some mental instability or they just have completely subscribed to an anti-American ideology. They might be radicalized. And look, it's easy to get your hands on a gun, and there are many examples of how to do the active shooting. In fact, you can find them online in different groups and look at what has happened in the past. We have seen this sort of attack before, where an individual rammed, I believe, his truck into a church and then started shooting and tried to set the church on fire. So there are examples.
Exactly the one I was talking about.
And become lone wolf shooters or terrorists can use in order to carry out their attacks. But of course, here we should say we don't know whether this is one individual, multiple individuals, or what at this point.
We're thankful to report right now. It does seem as though there are no injuries to report, but I think that you have brought just such great perspective on how, I don't want to say how easy it is for homegrown terrorism, but what do you attribute this rise to be? What is the cause of this?
Well, part of it is the internet and social media. It's very easy now to find people who think like you, who have the same problems that you do. It's easy to radicalize these susceptible people by in effect, the best word to use is grooming them into this using the internet. Now, it used to be very difficult for these these terrorists and supremacists and other groups to recruit. But now you can do it by the people who have a proclivity toward violence might actually find you. And, we saw this. We've seen this a number of different times, from radical extremists who throw, homemade bombs into crowds, of how online we all are, and how we can find people who think like we do online, even if those people are the worst of the worst.
Here at Fox 2, we've made a commitment to not share the names of people who participate in mass shootings or try to create violence and panic in our communities. Do you find that notoriety is what some of these people are chasing, or is it just about the violence and hate?
No, I think that your policy is wise. I have the same policy in a weekly newsletter that I produce. I don't ever say the names of these people. Part of what can activate someone is that narcissism and hubris, that pride, that want to be famous. We see that a lot in the people, the unhinged people who go on shooting sprees in schools. They want to be known. They leave manifestos. One of the strongest actions that can be taken is to leave them in the dustbin to history. That their names aren't known. That can help to deflect some people who might want to be famous and feel like maybe I won't. And that might be why you see people leave these manifestos and make sure their names, because they want their names to be known. So I think that is a good policy, not to publish the names of these kind of people.
All right, Eric O'Neill, this is Lee Thomas. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. You're former FBI counter-terrorism and counterintelligence operative. We appreciate your insight on this, what is unfortunate and groundbreaking event that's happening in our own backyard. Thank you so much, Eric O'Neill.
Don't you find it interesting that we have this going on? You had the situation going on in Virginia. Of course, the ongoing question that I'm going to have in my mind is there some possible thing? Could there be a third thing that happens today? You see what I'm saying? Like, is there something else? Because I always feel like all these things happen in threes. So could there possibly be another situation happening here in, today? You have the shooting that happened in Virginia at Old Dominion University. Now you have this situation in this synagogue. Like, so what the hell is going on here, right? What the hell is going on here? And of course, I got a lot of questions about what's going on. And of course, they're saying so far no casualties, but I am kind of curious if that is entirely true or accurate, because obviously this situation is still ongoing. You got people still suited up, still showing up suited up. Like, this is everybody up in this piece, right? And there is no coincidence. There's no coincidence. Think about that. This is a synagogue. This is not a situation where they just went to a supermarket or something like that, or to a mall. They went to a synagogue, especially after with everything that's going on in Iran. And then also on top of that, we haven't even gotten a chance to talk about the top story of the day, which is the new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, has come out with a statement talking about, like, we will continue to retaliate. We will continue to fight, right? So that is something that was put up today too. So what in the hell is going on? And no, this is not a coinky dink. It's all connected, baby. This whole thing's all connected. There better not be one child's head harmed in this situation. If it is, it's on Trump, y'all. It's all on Trump. And I hope no one got hurt except for the bad guy, right? Neutralize him or arrest him, whatever you need to do, and find out what the hell's going on here. But if they harm a single hair on any of these kids' heads, that is on Trump, y'all. That is on mother-loving Trump. Oh, and Netanyahu. I said it out loud, dag nabbit. Okay? Shoot.
You got the high school kids at West Bloomfield.
I'm gonna see if there's.
Some of them might think, what's the big deal?
I'm going to check to see if there's any other news covering this. Everybody and their mom is probably covering this by now. But I'm going to see if there's any other angles and all that too. So just so you know, okay? Stand by for me for a second. Grant me some grace.
Many scenes. You've done so much in your career, certainly. So you've seen it all, it seems. Yeah. And there's got to be so many different how do you compartmentalize is my question, because you have parents who don't care what anyone has to say. I'm going to get my children. I'm going to make sure that my children are safe, right? But then you still have this protocol that you have to follow. You have to make sure the scene is cleared. You have to make sure that there's no danger in any other parts of the building. So how are you able to navigate all of these different things that are coming at you once as an officer on a scene like this?
It's hard. You have unified command, and you have people stationed on the outside.
We got some more stuff.
I had 2 little kids.
Don't you worry about a thing. We're going to keep this on. Okay, I'm going to have this on standby. We got some eyewitnesses talking about what they saw, etc. So we are going to be looking at that as well. So just give me a second, guys, because this is all breaking news. Obviously, we just got done talking about the active shooter in the active shooter situation in Virginia, out in Old Dominion University. They neutralized that particular individual. Now we got this is just crazy. But
all right, Darnell,
let me just pull this up so you guys can hear this. But there's a lot being said about what's going on, and the authorities provided some updates in regards to what's going on as well. So we're going to get to that too. So let's just hear this eyewitness real quick. This is all breaking news, everybody. Breaking news. Please hit that like button down below. It gets the word out about what's going on, because it could very well be happening at a theater near you. Okay, we have 2 different active situations that have happened on 2 different places on this continent. We have to keep our heads on a swivel. Okay, so please hit that like button down below. Send it to 1K, send it past 1K. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Okay, we cover everything, and I'm trying to give you as much information as I possibly can live. Okay, let's hear this.
Stand by. I want to get back to Amaya Kaznicki, because those parallels we remember in Grand Blanc, which was a crash, shots fired, and a fire set. So if that's kind of a copycat or something similar to that attack, like Darnell just said, they're going to try and find any way to hurt people here. Amaya Kaznicki is one of our reporters on the ground at the scene there. Amaya, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I'm actually here with Lisa, who is standing by now. Lisa, you said you know people down there.
Yeah, I have a very close friend in the building who's a social worker there, and I know some of the temples. This is our temple, so we belong there.
And when you came down and saw everything that's happening, I mean, what's going through your mind?
I'm scared to death for my friends. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen this kind of this number of police officers out here, and my first thing, to be honest, were the children. There's a whole, daycare program in there, and parents and grandparents have been coming, and they're scared to death for their children.
And I know I asked you if you had talked to those people that work inside, and you said you don't even want to bother them because you just want them worrying about getting to safety.
Yeah, I was afraid to even call. If they're hiding, I didn't want their phones to ring. You don't know what's going on. So I'm just standing here to make sure my friends get out okay.
And you said you will be here, standing here until you know more information.
Until I know. My heart's in there right now.
Yeah.
So.
I know it's a tough situation, and I think everyone around here is feeling the same way right now. Is there anything else that you want to add just about the situation in general?
This is senseless. It's senseless. We have to be better than this. This is not okay. So that's all I want. Everyone to be okay.
Well, we're hoping that we can get some answers for you, and I appreciate you, taking the time to speak with us. I know it's a difficult topic, and you heard it from Lisa. She's just one of many people that are out here right now, very concerned as to what's happening down there. Again, we were hoping to get that information from police soon, and we will make sure to update you as soon as we know more.
Hey, Maya, before you go, can you ask her, we're hearing from people in that area that preschool would have been in session today. Does she know if that's the case or not?
Do you know if preschool was in session today?
Where's the camera?
Yes.
Go back.
She said it was in session. Preschool was in session. I heard from someone else. Was it you that told me that they believe
They believe that the children, this is just, rumor, hearsay. They believe the children were all escorted safely out of the building into the country club across the way, Shenandoah, where they're on lockdown until their parents get them. Now, that's what I heard. I don't know that to be true.
Okay. Again, that's just everything that she's hearing. I think a lot of information is coming in right now. So we will make sure to update you as soon as we know more.
Maya, thank you very much.
Sorry, I'm cursing and everything, but this is just this is a very angering and frustrating situation, guys. We got some authorities providing some updates in regards to this situation at the Temple Israel. It was posted about 7 minutes ago. So let's check this out.
Yes, guys, we have actually all our phones are just going off with an alert right now about the active shooter. So you could hear that noise. We have Sheriff Bouchard here, Oakland County, also the Chief of Police. They're about to give us an update here.
So obviously we've got the chief, West Bloomfield, and their team, incredible, local security at the temple on top of things. It appears it's still very, very early. Everything's preliminary. At least one individual came to the temple. Security saw him, engaged him in gunfire. The scene, we're not getting any active stimulus at the moment. We have everything here that we need, including, medics and tactical gear. We're looking to see if there's more than one person. We're still trying to figure that out. We're trying to get access to the video. At the moment, we just tell people that shelter in place for at least a mile area until we determine that there's no one else that maybe was on foot and fled the area, until we figure out exactly what's going on. Number one. Number two, Reunification will be at the JCC, the Jewish Center, and that's where parents will go to pick up their kids. It's going to be secured by law enforcement, so no fear there. If you have nothing to do with the situation, don't go there. Don't come to the area. It's active and it's busy, and we're still trying to figure it out.
Guys, can you say anything about any potential casualties, anyone hurt?
Nobody at the moment has been confirmed to be hurt, except potentially the shooter.
Any ties potentially to terrorism?
That's still way early to talk about. We have no idea because we don't even know who the person is at the moment.
Has that person been neutralized?
We don't have that person in custody.
So they're still on the run.
It's a work in progress. So that's why we're sheltering in place until we figure it out. It's a big facility with a lot of land around it. Until that gets secured and everybody's comfortable that there's no active threat in that spot, stay away from it, shelter in place.
He could have bled out.
Daycare, preschooler, all those kids out.
Yeah, everybody's been moved out of the school. We've got a ton of people here. As I said, West Bloomfield got on scene in a heartbeat. Everybody else came from everywhere. Actually, the chief and I have been communicating for almost 2 weeks. Every time I've gotten some intelligence from the national level, I've been sharing. We've been talking for 2 weeks about the potential, sadly, of this happening. So there was no lack of preparation. In addition, all Jewish facilities in the area are going to have a lot of extra presence around it until we figure this out.
Damn right. And that should be national, by the way. That should be national. Okay?
Well, again, we would tell everybody to shelter in place.
Was there any security at this temple, as you mentioned?
Yes, there was.
Okay.
And they engaged the threat.
So there was one person that approached the security guard and...
That's still a work in progress.
Okay, and then shots were fired?
Shots were fired.
There are reports that somebody crashed with a vehicle into a building.
A vehicle was involved.
Did it reach the building?
We're going to get into more details when there's time for that, and the chief will lay out exactly, specifically what happened. But we just want everybody to kind of know what's happening as we get it. More will come to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sheriff, will you come back here to run the time?
Yes.
Or, yeah, this exact spot?
Yeah. Whatever, you know, the chief believes it's time to come back.
Thanks. Thank you.
Okay. And I think that there should be they should up their up security at every synagogue for a while, if you ask me. Hold on. I know somebody said that CNN said something, but I haven't heard anything yet. I haven't seen anything like that yet, but I'm looking. I am looking. 1 second, y'all. 1 second.
This was the case. I heard that was the case. I understand the shooter may have been killed. Perhaps the shooter is
may
not.
have.
Instead of reporting hearsay, what's going to be different than what you see on your phone, what you see here on this stream, here on this television station, and here on the monitor is clearly the fact that we have verified facts and information. And so that's such an important piece of this puzzle that we're putting together. If you're just joining us right now, we're looking at an active shooter situation at Temple Israel in West Bloomfield, one of the largest temples of its kind, not just here in Michigan, but in the country. And joining us now is a rabbi who is on the phone with us right now, Rabbi Shalom, and we thank you so much for joining us here today on our broadcast, just to kind of unpack what it is that you're hearing, what you're seeing. Rabbi Shalom Cantor, and you're with a nearby synagogue. Obviously, this Jewish community, all of us, including those who aren't Jewish, are thinking about the entire Jewish community here today. Tell us what you're hearing in terms of fact from authorities, from others out there right now.
I only know what you all have said. I don't have any more information at this point. I can tell you that the lockdown of my son's high school, which is the Frankel Jewish Academy housed at the Jewish Community Center, the lockdown has been lifted, but the lockout has not, meaning that nobody's in, nobody's out. My son just texted a little while ago and said that FBI agents are in the building, protecting, making sure that everybody's safe. In terms of facts, I don't want to, as you just stated very clearly, I don't want to spread rumors. I don't want to say anything that...
Sure. Rabbi, I think we may have lost you there for a moment, but I think your message stands very clear. I think the rabbi is simply saying, look, he also is following the same thing that we're following, which is we report what we know. And in a situation like this, there's a lot of fear. And
yeah, John and Sandra, we got a little bit more from the Oakland County Sheriff, who said at this point they are not seeing any active stimulus. So it appears that this may not be an ongoing threat. As you mentioned, the sheriff said that security saw the shooter and engaged them. What they are doing now is searching the area and trying to get a hold of the security camera video at that synagogue to make sure that there was, in fact, just one shooter and that there isn't another person that they need to be looking for right now. At this point, the sheriff said that it doesn't appear to be any injuries other than potentially the shooter, but he also noted it's very early on to say definitively if that's going to remain the case. There's going to be a reunification at the Jewish Community Center nearby for parents to pick up their kids, he said. So there may actually have been some children present at the synagogue today, after all, despite the temple's calendar not listing any school or classes being in session. And as you mentioned, he said it is too early to connect to terrorism. Also interesting to note that he said, quote, "We've been talking for 2 weeks about the potential of this happening, sadly, so there was no lack of preparation." He also said that there's going to be an increased police presence at all houses of worship in the area until they get this figured out. Schools in the area are also going to remain on lockdown until they can say for certain whether or not anyone else was in that vehicle besides the shooter or anyone else was involved in this. Sandra?
You know, Garrett, when you consider that this synagogue has got 12,000 members, the fact that there was almost no one in the building at the time really is quite remarkable.
Yeah, it really is. The timing of this is notable, given how
They shouldn't say anything. In my personal opinion, they shouldn't be saying any of that. Oh, thank God, you know, they were at the wrong time, you know, that they got there too early or something like that, right? Now, there's a possibility that this active shooter actually bled out. That is a possibility, that this active shooter actually bled out. And that's why there hasn't really been any kind of activity coming from this active shooter. But they crashed their car. Now, of course, they said, you know, you heard you heard local authorities basically say, like, we're going to talk about that in the press conference when we get to it. So he didn't really answer the question, but he did something. The dude did something. And then, of course, before he did that, it looks like there was an exchange of gunfire. All right. And then he drove the car into the side of the building of the synagogue. And then, of course, he got clipped. It sounds like he got clipped a couple times. And then he ran in somewhere and he hid out somewhere. He's somewhere hiding out somewhere in that synagogue, unless he ran off. But I feel like everybody wouldn't see him run off, right? I don't think he did. I don't think he's a magician. He did some crazy, like, disappearing act. You know what I mean? Magic. You know what I'm saying? I doubt he did that. So something's up here. Obviously, something's very strange. Something very strange is afoot here for sure. So let's find out what's going on. But there are reports out there saying that he's deceased. Hopefully he really is, right? So I'm wondering what's going on. Okay. I'm just wondering what's going on. Let's hear what's going on here.
I'm sure that there will be many more levels of fear and a need for increased security on many different levels. That will be both visible security and things that won't be visible to the naked eye, but things that we know about that will be instituted at, I'm guessing, many of the different institutions around the community and probably around the nation to a large extent. People are nervous, and people ask all kinds of questions about, is it safe to show my identity outwardly? Can I wear a outward sign, whether it is a head covering, a yarmulke or a kippah, or some sort of necklace, or do I need to hide that? People have asked me. I also teach at the high school one class on Jewish identity, and we discuss this all the time about, is it safe to show Jewish identity publicly, or is it something that we have to hide? And there's not one right answer. But this is going to definitely impact that and impact how people feel about publicly showing. So for some people, it will make them want to show it more and say, I am proud of who I am and you're not going to scare me. And there are other people who understandably are going to say, I'm not so sure. I'm very proud of who I am, but I need to be cautious, show out in the world. And both responses have to be validated and have to be understood and have to be respected. And I think that is going to be one of the key things going forward.
We've taken calls from one of your members and certainly a friend of Fox 2, Carolyn Krieger, who was in tears, just expressing just how many times people in the Jewish community have had to go through this. If you were to give words of encouragement right now to people who are disheartened by this, who are watching, what would you say to them?
Number one, find people that you can be with. Find community. We need each other. Do not sit in your home and watch the TV by yourself, but find people to be with. Find people to support you and people that you can support in return. Number one thing.
Yeah. Rabbi Cantor,
Judaism is all about community.
Yes.
And the community is coming together in large numbers, not only here in Metro Detroit, but across the world, wrapping its arms around a community that has given so much to our greater Metro community. And Rabbi Cantor, you're a big part of that. We thank you for your time here on the phone today. We want to get to Fox News' Camille Amiri. She's live with us right now with somebody who's been there for a little while now. And Camille, what are they telling you?
Yeah, we're talking to Beth Swiss, one of the first people here on the scene as far as civilians go. Beth, thank you for talking to us. I know you talked to me earlier. Kind of tell me how your day started and how you ended up here.
Yeah, so I was at Henry Ford Hospital dropping something off, and I was driving down the street, and I was talking to my mom on the phone, and there were police officers driving by super fast. There were about 10 police officers down the street, so I told my mom, hey, let's pray. There's something like happening. So I thought it was a car accident. And then when I got to this light, it looked like a mom with a cell phone, and she was running really fast across the street. She didn't even see me or the other cars. And so I told my mom, something else is happening and maybe there's a school right there. So again, we were praying, and I just started driving down the street away. And then when I hit this dirt road, I was like, I feel like I should go back. Let's just get off the phone, but keep praying. And then when I drove back, I parked in the parking lot, and I just felt from the Holy Spirit to come and to pray with people. And then I texted work, Oak Point Church, and had them all praying. And so, yeah, and then just been with some parents and lots of other people, giving them hope and comfort while they wait.
You were just describing the expression of the woman. Talk about that when we were talking off camera, what you felt when you saw her face.
Yeah, I mean, it was a look of horror, absolute horror. And so, yeah, it was really disturbing, actually.
And when we see these things happen, we always think worst case scenario, but knowing that everything we're hearing, that no one was killed, and that the police have taken out the suspect, that they've neutralized the suspect. What goes through your head, obviously unfolding very quickly?
Yeah, I mean, just for the family, just watching them, there was just even a mom that came out, I believe, holding her child. So that's very emotional. And so there's other people that are waiting for their spouses to come out, to still connect with their kids, but definitely rejoicing in that and comfort. And also even just to see just all the support of the first responders is very overwhelming as well. And then I always have a heart for the person that did it. I always think that's someone's child, someone's son, someone's neighbor. So again, you and I talked about what can we do as a community to diminish
and to prevent this from happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think it's just for all of us to pay more attention to people, to each other, to be kind, loving, and then when we do see something that's off, to report it. It's not going to hurt for us to report it. So just really paying attention.
Thank you, Beth, so much. I appreciate it. Again, just hearing from one of the people who was first on the scene as far as civilians go and what she saw. Everybody here thankful that this did not result in any fatalities. As far as the suspect go, again, the police have taken that suspect down. We have confirmed that. There's still obviously a lot of work to be done here. Still a very active police situation. And of course, we're waiting to hear from...
Ariel, just looking at this, and then you kind of go, when's the last time something like this happened? Mm-hmm. It was in Grand Blanc, September 28th, just down the road, a little north of here, when someone actually, Thomas Sanford, I believe was his name, he rammed his pickup truck into the church. And now you're seeing in this situation, I know a text that was given from the temple to all the members said, a car crashed into the building, police shot driver, not sure if he's dead. This is as per the temple sending to members. Car caught on fire, which is why fire trucks are there. And it just kind of reminds you of what happened with this perpetrator, this 40-year-old guy who also ran his pickup truck. It's almost as though the same MO was used in this situation. Thankfully, you know, in the Grand Blanc situation, you had 4 people who died.
Right.
In this situation, no one was hurt inside, which is good news.
We talked to former Assistant Chief Steve Dolan about exactly that, who said, is this a copycat situation? We talked about the policy here at Fox 2, not to give any notoriety to people who choose to create mass chaos in our communities. So we're certainly not doing that here, but you have to wonder just for the people in the Jewish community, this constant fear every time you get an alert like this and you see car into the building. Early when this was happening and before we were getting information back into the newsroom, we see smoke billowing from the building. We don't know if it's a fire. We don't know if there are kids still inside. There is a food pantry day that the synagogue does on Thursdays. That would have been today as well while people were there. Thankfully, we're not reporting any injuries, but this is something that people are having to think about. We have Scott Wolchek on the ground for us as well. Scott, what can you tell us?
Hey, you know what? This is pretty wild to see. It is a good thing to hear that this shooter is down, and it appears that there's no injuries. The second that any of us heard that there's a nursery school there, I mean, your heart just drops down to another level. So we actually just saw maybe a couple minutes ago a young mother walking out, you know, just holding a child so close to her. She did not want to do any type of interview or anything like that, but so much emotion on her face. And you can see this police presence is unlike many things that I have seen in my career. This is truly an amazing show of just a preparation plan, but it sounds as though the shooter had driven the vehicle into the Temple Israel there and was quickly dispatched. So this could have been so much worse. Of course, it is still an active scene, still a developing situation, but there's a lot of emotion on this scene, and it is very hard to tell. You know, when you're actually out here, it's hard to tell, you know, what may have happened in that time period.
Yeah, I think a lot of us want to know what happened inside, you know, during this whole active scene, because this is just, it's very odd, it's very wild, and of course we want to understand fully what the hell's going on. But don't worry, we're still looking. I'm just trying to see if there's any other bits and pieces of updates. But that's wild. We got 2 different active shooter situations in 2 completely different areas. Just insane. Just insane.
This tweet from FBI Director Kash Patel,
Kash
everyone's
Patel.
safety and keys. Hart Temple from active shooter, and but he did breach the building, and that's how the fire started. We've been hearing from our reporters about how the kids were able to get out of the school there, and they were able to get to safety. We have a statement
which is great news. Which is great news. All the kids are okay. Everybody's okay, which is good. Which is great news. Kids are okay. But Useful Vid said, that much police? What's going on? Well, there was an active shooter. At least there was an attempt at trying to do something at a synagogue. Now, again, I want to make this abundantly clear. Just because this is one guy and they stopped him with this one synagogue does not mean that this could not happen in other places over the next couple months, over the next couple, however long this war with Iran actually lasts for. Just remember that. We all have to keep our heads on a swivel, because it could be terror anywhere. Anywhere at any time. They don't care. Now we can see that this was an attempt at a synagogue this time. Are they going to go after every single synagogue we can think of? Don't know. I don't know. But one thing is for sure, every synagogue, I believe, should be completely stocked up with security. After seeing something like this, hey, man, shoot. Even before even when they dropped bombs on Iran, and everyone was concerned about sleeper cells getting activated and all that stuff. That should be instantly, okay, security needs to be, we need to stock up on security. We got to amp up security in this area, period. No questions about it. Just do it, right? So again, this is nuts. But it says here from Governor Gretchen Whitmer, okay, I'm tracking reports of an active shooter at Temple West in West Bloomfield, or Temple Israel, I'm sorry, in West Bloomfield. We're working with Michigan State Police to get more information. This is heartbreaking. Michigan's Jewish community should be able to live and practice their faith in peace. Anti-Semitism and violence have no place in Michigan. I'm hoping for everybody's safety. Thank you to law enforcement for their swift action. And man, was it swift? And man, was it a tidal wave of blue? Real talk. Crazy how many people showed up, how many agencies showed up, how many departments showed up. It's insane, but I'm glad that they did. Okay. They might as well get ready because I feel like this is not going to end anytime soon.
A nurse who she said, I'm tracking reports of an active shooting at Temple Israel in West Bloomfield. We are working with Michigan State Police to get more information. This is heartbreaking. Michigan's Jewish community should be able to live and practice their faith in peace. Anti-Semitism and violence have no place in Michigan. I am hoping for everyone's safety, and she is thanking law enforcement for their swift action.
Absolutely. We're going to read this tweet from FBI Director Kash Patel. FBI personnel are on the scene with partners in Michigan and responding to the apparent vehicle ramming and active shooter situation out of Temple Israel in West Bloomfield Township. And we do want to play some sound from one of our reporters. 7 News Detroit reporter Ruta Olsonida was at this temple just last week speaking to the rabbi about how they were preparing just in case something like this were to happen. Take a listen.
Many people are thinking about our security in a more sophisticated way. We have a lot happening at Temple Israel in terms of our security. Obviously, we don't talk about the details, but we are ramping up our security to make sure that people are safe and feel comfortable tonight at our celebration of Purim and at our regular programs and services. We have an incredible with the West Bloomfield Police who are always watching over us, and we have an internal security team, but we're always asking, should we be doing more?
And I think the reason it's important to play that sound from the rabbi there is all of our churches in this community have ramped up their security, especially after we saw that person ram his vehicle into that church. The deadly mass shooting attack that happened last September in Grand Blanc Township at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We were on the air covering that live when we saw plumes of smoke, and really that entire church went down in flames and 4 parishioners were killed. That was a very frightening situation. And then we started doing reports about just about every church in our community ramping up their security, and why it's so important, because you just don't know when something like this might happen. We don't have any information about this shooter who is now dead, but we do know the reason you see so many police personnel, including the FBI, including the sheriff's office, including West Bloomfield Police. I mean, rows and rows of police vehicles are out there just to make sure the community is safe. There is still a shelter-in-place order in place, I think, for about a mile around that area. And we can't say enough for parents out there so concerned. They are supposed to pick up their children from Temple Israel at the Jewish Community Center. I can't even imagine if you were at work and you got the phone call to pick your kid up after something like this happened.
Just her.
Here's some more information. Suspect rammed car into synagogue. I'm just reading this off screen real quick. Rammed car into synagogue. Okay. And let's see. And had a rifle. So the suspect rammed his car into synagogue, had a rifle in possession. After the car hit the building, security opened gunfire, taking the life of the actual suspect, according to the official, who cautioned that the investigation is still at its very early stages. The suspect is gone. He is dead after the car drove into a Detroit area synagogue Thursday. When the suspect came to the synagogue, security saw him and engaged in gunfire. And this is according to what the Oakland County Sheriff Bouchard told reporters near the scene, which the press conference, the impromptu presser that we saw is exactly what we're talking about right here. Schools in the area have been evacuated. Residents in the area are asked to shelter in place because this is an ongoing investigation, and there could be another one out there somewhere, involved in this situation. Let's see. Let me see if there's anything else. ATF and FBI are on the scene, like you just heard. At least as far as FBI, Kash Patel making a statement saying that they are there being a part of the investigation of what's going on. Let's see, there's a new update here. No other injuries are reported after the vehicle drives into the synagogue, which is absolutely crazy. But yeah, I'm still trying to find out, like, man, like, were there any explosive devices inside the car? Were there any explosive devices on him, strapped to him at all? Those are things I'm kind of wondering about as well, because this is some wild and crazy stuff. But that's some updates so far in this ongoing investigation at Temple Israel.
Is now dead. The good news, of course, no known victims, no injuries. There were little kids there at Temple Israel. They are now being reunited with their parents at the Jewish Community Center. A lockdown is still in place. You see a helicopter in the air. There are tons of police vehicles still on the scene to just make sure that whoever this shooter was, who is now deceased, that he wasn't working with anyone in that area. So there are a lot of people. We have heard from the FBI Director, Kash Patel, who said his FBI personnel are on the ground there. You can see the Oakland County SWAT team there as well.
SWAT, yeah. And early on we saw ambulances, we saw fire trucks, we saw.
And if you notice, these guys are chilling. They chilling in the cut. They have no concerns. So you see that, right? They're chilling. They're talking ish at each other, that kind of thing. They're just, boys being boys, that kind of thing, right? You don't see them on the ready. You see what I'm saying? So obviously the threat is gone. But again, did this particular person operate alone? Did this person operate by himself? That's the one thing I'm kind of curious about as well.
Again, just what looked to be hundreds of police cars, everything from the Michigan State Police to.
Let's skip ahead.
Because if you're just joining us, we want you to know what it looks like. That right there, that is the front of Temple Israel there.
You can see that there's a playground right there. So that we can assume is potentially where the early childhood center is. And you could see smoke coming out of there. Again, our Brett Cass speaking with neighbors just on the other side there who saw the children fleeing and saw the children able to get away.
Wow, that is so frightening when you think about that. Oh. You could actually see that smoke. And I know, again, I keep bringing up Grand Blanc, but it was so frightening. So I'm sure when parents saw that, they were almost panicking, as you might imagine if your child is in Temple Israel. Again, so good to know that there are no known victims and all of those children did make it out safely. We did hear a brief comment from the rabbi there at Temple Israel, who spoke to our own Ruta Olsonite about a week ago and said that they had prepared for something like this. I'm sure you can never prepare for someone ramming into your temple.
No,
but they were ready to jump on.
But they're very aware of the threats. And obviously we unfortunately have seen this continued rise in anti-Semitism and these acts across the region and across
the world.
The world,
yes.
Really. And obviously, not just that, we had the situation in Grand Blanc and we had the situation in New York this weekend. So, and we, as you recall, in October, we had a thwarted terror plot.
Absolutely.
So this is,
and we have a really big Jewish community. You've spoken to many representatives in the Jewish community. We have colleagues who are Jewish, and they talk about the threat to their community and anti-Semitism and how we really need to just stand down and love one another and have peace, not only in this nation, but in this world, and to stop the hate. Again, we have no idea who this person was who rammed his vehicle into Temple Israel, but in light of what's going on in Iran and the increasing threats across the world, this is a difficult situation. But we heard on the news this morning that we may have an attack here in America, because what's going on over there. You see pockets of people here in America who may be thinking about threatening a church or a community. So we all have to be active with our eyes and our ears open to anything that may seem off base.
Absolutely. And ABC reporting this morning that there may be threats on the West Coast, coming from the Iran conflict. So again, tensions are so high. And like you said, all of these religious communities, they all talk about love and peace and the need for people to try to just, have some tolerance and have some faith. But fortunately, their security team was ready to engage, and they did.
And there are no injuries, no known victims right now. That is certainly the good news. Our whole team is on the scene getting information for all of you watching this at home. Our own Brett Cast has been on the scene from the very beginning. Brett, tell us where you are right now. We see, the swing right behind you. So tell us what you've been hearing, what you are seeing there.
Yeah, Carolyn. So we're in a neighborhood pretty much backing up right to Temple Israel. We're trying to get discern where exactly the front of the building was, where this car crashed into. But we can actually smell the smoke. It kind of depends on the direction of the wind. But when the wind picks up and blows in our direction, we can still smell some of that smoke lingering in the air. You can see the fire trucks, even one with a cherry picker there, which looks like it possibly could be at the front of the building from what we've heard. And also the flagpoles are right there. So that appears where the front of the building is, where this car drove at the building. And we can see the number of officers that are still here. We have ambulances, fire trucks on scene. We've seen officers from all over, including state police. We just saw the Oakland County SWAT truck drive by. And as you mentioned, we can see what appears to be a small playground right here. And we know that there were young children that had fled from that area of the building right over this mound here into the neighborhood. And some of the people in these homes helped take refuge for some of the kids until we saw then multiple school buses come through this neighborhood and looked like to be transporting the kids back to a reunification center. So there was obviously the main road was packed with police and vehicles, and it was just hard to get through. So we made our way through the subdivision and ended up here closer to the temple. But again, that's where the kids had fled. It looks like this is the area of the building where the preschool had been.
Hey, Brett, we're going to have, okay, there you go.
To the facility, breached the facility by driving into it, was engaged by security. We believe there is one individual deceased in the vehicle. It's been complicated because there was some fire, to say the least, with that vehicle. We believe that individual is deceased. No kids, this is the important thing, no kids or no staff was injured whatsoever, okay? So we have no victims other than one of the lead security people was hit by the car hospital for treatment. So far, that's our information to this point. We have agencies from all over. Obviously, ATF is here, FBI. More than likely, we'll be taking the lead on this based on some of the preliminary investigative information we have, but we're not going to go into that at this point. But we want to assure the community it doesn't appear to be anything active. We're still clearing the area. We're going to clear vehicles for any explosive devices, the building, etc. Unification of the families and the kids are in progress. We've accounted for everybody that we believe was in the building at the time. So we're on path to continue to maybe pivot to, is there anybody else involved, and the investigative side of what's happened.
So you can confirm that it was security that shot and killed the suspect here?
Well, we can't say what killed him at this point, but the suspect with guns.
Come on. Really?
Into a lot of that stuff, but he breached the building, drove down the hall, engaged by security.
Come on. Come on.
You have been listening to that live briefing.
We weren't
of
listening
Sheriff
to we weren't listening to a damn thing, girl. What was that?
Shard. And as you just heard him say, the shooter who rammed that vehicle into Temple Israel, he said he breached security, rammed into that church. We don't know what kind of accelerant he used, but you saw smoke billowing from Temple Israel. That person is deceased, and they found him inside the vehicle. Sheriff Bashard said there was some kind of confusion as to whether that shooter was inside the vehicle or had made it out. And I think that's because of the smoke. They surrounded that vehicle, and I'm sure had to wait for the smoke.
Stop. Stop. We got it. We're getting that press conference because that was trash. That was mother loving trash. Let's get this. Hold up. Where did it go? I got so many windows open. Have mercy. Let's re-listen to that without trashy reception. Hopefully this is better reception. Let's rock and freaking roll.
Number of bomb dogs on site, bomb techs on site, and all of that's going to be done to check the boxes. We have deployed resources all across the county, just in case, out of an abundance of caution, that there may be a secondary site, but we don't have any information at this time to believe that. So we want people to take a breath. No one was hurt. We're on top of it. Chief and his team got here fast. Everything that was supposed to happen happened. Security did their job, and then the responders did theirs.
Was it a Michigan vehicle? Sheriff, what did the call come out as?
I believe it came out as an active shooter.
Where and when did you actually neutralize the threat? Where was it?
The vehicle's in the hallway of the building. It's inside the building.
That's interesting.
Again, I can't tell you what he died of until we get a little further. We haven't actually gone into the car. It's still being cleared.
So he rammed through the front. He rammed through the doors of the school, of the synagogue, and drove down the hallway. So he was driving down the hallway while, I guess, security was opening fire on him. Interesting.
So we do know that the security guard shot this
shot
shooter, shot at them, but it's unclear if he was killed
because in situations like this, you never know. If somebody's trapped, sometimes they kill themselves. So the suspect was engaged.
Was it the same?
Is the clearest sentence I can give you.
What is the condition of the security?
From information I got, he should be okay. He was knocked unconscious.
So there's a different security officer who fired the shot.
There were multiple security officers on scene, and the one that was hurt was pulled from that area by his team.
How much? Where's the car registered from? What?
We're not going to get into the specifics on the car at this point.
You see what type of car it is, sir? A truck or an SUV?
It was a truck.
Sheriff, this is what Bloomfield seen, the sheriff's seen. I know everybody's here.
Everybody's here, more than likely, based on a couple early pieces of information. The FBI may take the lead. That's yet to be formally determined.
Were there explosives in his vehicle?
That's yet to be cleared.
How much damage to the building from the fire?
That I can't even tell you. You couldn't even see the hall was completely clear. We had to send people in with gas masks to clear that area.
The car actually entered all the way into the building.
All the way in the building.
Oh, and do we know how fast he was going?
Wow.
It's hard to say how fast. I mean, he was traveling with purpose down the hall from my look at the video.
This could have been a far worse.
So there is video, guys.
Considering the severity of it, him getting into the building, whatever may have been in the vehicle. Talk about just the response, those security guards, and how this could be far worse than what we're reporting and seeing right now.
No, absolutely. In fact, what I would tell you is that I am deeply proud of the response, not only from the security that was on site, but also of all the police officers and the firefighters that are here now. We train on active shooter events a lot. The county has a consortium, OPTAC, that trains the entire county on active shooter tactics, and that's something that we believe in and that we support. And I think that training certainly helps to mitigate what happened here today.
And the chief has been in contact with all of the facilities for weeks, not just on the last couple of weeks, but constantly forever. But in the last couple of weeks, even a lot more integrated communication. I mean, there are always, and all of the agencies in Oak County are partnering with their religious institutions and schools. And anytime there's a concern, there's communication, there's extra patrol, extra attention, extra warnings. That had all happened for the weeks leading up to this. And the team inside that building was very queued up. And I know the chief had communicated directly with their head of security weeks ago.
Were there any directed threats at this specific time?
There was no specific chatter about any institution or facility in Oakland County, but they were all on alert.
Sheriff, we see vehicles leaving. Is it all clear of an issue? Is the shelter in place still
It's still in place until we clear vehicles and make sure there's no IEDs or other secondary potential. But we believe there's nothing active at the moment.
Thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
So it's likely that there could be another press conference here, maybe within the next 2 hours.
Okay. Right here at this
Yes,
location.
guys. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
We've got them all in the reunification.
Do you know when staff might be able to get back to the building? My wife was right by the
No, way more.
car. She was right there.
Probably.
And she has all her stuff inside, obviously.
Yes.
I that's not the most important thing going on.
Well, right now
Just
we don't have
curious.
a ton.
There were kids in there. I don't know
Just wanted to let
if
her
it was
know
daycare or
she had a
classrooms in
random
there. I
house
know that.
evacuated somewhere in the neighborhood. They got her out.
This is being closed down out here. People that live in the area.
A while.
And what's your message to folks that people that want to come out and look?
There's
no
reason to come out
specific
and look.
threats towards
Getting in the way.
this institution or any other ones, but you just had been in contact with them since the beginning of the Iran war, essentially.
Right. So essentially, there was nothing that was directed here that we were made aware of, and that we've just been on heightened alert just because of all the world events, and we stay plugged in with our faith community. Yep.
I'm sorry, I watched it all late, so can you just tell me what you said about the fire?
So right now, those details we're not releasing at the moment because it's still part of the investigation that we're still trying to piece everything.
But it was a fire in the hall where the car was?
Those details we're not sharing at the moment.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I missed it or,
Yeah.
okay, okay, thank you.
Chief, do you believe that the communication you had with the
around 12:30, I don't have
prevented this from being worse than it could have been?
I think it certainly helps anytime that we're able to stay in contact and free flow of information back and forth. These are so hard to predict that anything like this would even happen. Dale, D-A-L-E, last of Young, Y-O-U-N-G.
And forgive me for the redundancy, but in a chronological sense, I heard obviously from the sheriff that drove a vehicle in, and what happened as far as a step-by-step as best you can share?
Well, at this point, we're not sharing those types of details. We're going to protect the integrity of the investigation.
Chief, do you know about how many people were in the building? Like, I know it was like dozens and dozens, 100, 200. I know a lot were kids.
So all of those details, again, we're holding right now as we're trying to piece everything together. But again, within 2 hours, we will be back and we'll be able to discuss more things.
I appreciate
Okay,
it. Thank you so much.
Interesting. Let's see. That was better. Man, that's insane, y'all. We're living in some crazy, crazy times. Crazy, 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 crazy times. Hold on.
One I'm witnessing right here. I'm about a block and a half from the temple from where I stand right now, and it is here on Walnut Lake. Police cars beyond count. I can't see the end of them as I look at these flashing lights here parked alongside Walnut Lake, and you could tell by the way some of these agents come in cars that aren't marked, the way they're parked up on a curb, just the urgency at which they were kind of making sure they were rushing to the scene and getting here in order to respond to the perceived threat when we were very unaware of what was going on and how many people could be potentially involved. And as we just heard, and I listened to as well, the Sheriff Bouchard giving us an update that there is no more threat in place. We're watching these law enforcement agents from all over. We're talking state police, sheriffs, the county sheriff, local from West Bloomfield here, kind of take a different posture. ATF agents as well, kind of walk it down and get back to the car. They mentioned they're going to start clearing out the area as best they can, allow the people that were sheltering in place, because these are just neighborhoods here, Greenbrier, and this is all part of where the reunification was going to take place. Was just a block and a half down from where we're standing now. We understand that you cannot get, we're going to allow the privacy that is from the law enforcement there for those families to get back to one another after going through that terrible ordeal that they experienced experienced just a few hours ago. And we still see the helicopters up. There's 2 of them, police helicopters circling the scene, making sure that what we know to be true is in fact true, as we kind of just process everything that's happening here in terms of the sheer number of law enforcement agents. Again, unlike anything I've ever seen. I'll send it back to you.
Reporting live for us. Dave, thank you so much. We have Camille Amiri standing by as well. You can certainly sense a difference in the urgency there now that we know that the suspect is dead, and now they are more concerned about getting families back together, being able to have a place where people can meet safely away from all this. You can only imagine all of the emotion in the area as well.
It's probably thick as can be as people are reunited with their children, especially in those loved ones in other areas. Camille, I know, of course, as we all have noted, that the next step is going to be figuring out who this person was and what they planned to do before they were stopped.
Yeah, I mean, that's the $1 million question. Of course, we don't have the answers to those questions right now, but we do know that he has been killed. Police not saying whether he killed himself or whether he was taken out by an officer. They have yet to confirm. They're still trying to work that out, but we do know that he is dead. We do know that they rammed his vehicle into the synagogue, according to police, according to Oakland County Sheriff Bouchard, Michael Bouchard, and that he shot at that he may have injured one of the security guards, but we don't know exactly if any shots were fired from the shooter. He used his car as a weapon, is what police were saying. And were there any explosives on that car like we saw in Grand Blanc? Police say they do not know at this time, but they said that there was a fire. Was that fire caused because he was driving so quickly and that something may have exploded into his car? We know that he did ram through the front of the building, and we do know that he got into the building with his vehicle. But again, like you said, a huge sigh of relief from everybody, knowing that he is no longer a threat and knowing that nobody was seriously hurt, that the security guard did sustain injuries, but he is expected to be okay. Meanwhile, what led this person to do this? Was this something that he had planned for a while? Was this something that did he leave any clues behind? Was there any telltale sign that this was going to happen today? That is what they're going to be working out. Was there any kind of manifesto, and what was the motivation? Again,
the war in
people here are
Iran.
just very relieved right now that nobody was
Maybe.
seriously injured and that suspect was taken into custody. This has been a very, very fluid situation as we have tried to figure out exactly what's going on. As you know, we're very far away from the synagogue itself, but police, so many of them on the scene, doing their due diligence, trying to figure out exactly what led up to this. But again, a huge sigh of relief that suspect is no longer a threat.
Camille Amiri for us live tonight with that. We thank you so much for that report, and we'll continue to check in with you. If you're just joining us, we're approaching the 3 o'clock hour here, and Marielle Liu, along with myself and the whole Fox 2 team, tracking the latest. Now, we can tell you right now, if you're just turning this on your stream, on your phone, on your connected TV, we do have a bit of good news. And the good news is that nobody inside of Temple Israel was hurt, except for a security guard who is being treated for non-life-threatening injuries. In the meantime, we can tell you that there was a car in which there was a suspect. That suspect rams the car into Temple Israel. Not clear, Marielle, whether the person took their own life or was shot by a security officer. One of the security officers taken to the hospital. In the meantime, lockdowns have been lifted, and that is the best news we can give you at this hour.
Absolutely. We have Danny Leach on the phone with us now. Danny attends Temple Israel. Danny, are you here?
I am.
How are you feeling right now to watch all this play out on television and to see your place of worship intentionally attacked like this? Take us inside of your mind right now.
Well, it's nice to be with you guys, obviously, on a very tough day. I grew up a mile away from Temple Israel. I've been there over, 300-400 times for bar and bat mitzvahs. My sister was there last night. My brother-in-law's nephew was there today. Luckily, I got some good news from a good friend of mine, Michael Kraft, who was in touch with the teacher inside when everything was going on and the news was spotty, when you guys were reporting everything, to know that the kids were safe. And just to know that a place that I have loved and have attended so many wonderful events and have so many friends that belong there and so many friends that were bar mitzvah or, confirmed there, to see this happen. And the one thing that you guys have been talking about, the incredible police presence and the response, obviously in this very scary new normal, was something to behold. And I feel so grateful for that. But to know that this happened here and we have such a tight close-knit Jewish community. And to see this happen, on our home turf is very jarring. It's very depressing. But I'm someone that has always tried to live my life with love and gratitude and understanding.
Yeah.
And I'll never give up the hope that we can try to come together and have differences, but understand them. But it's still very, it's been a tough day. It's a tough day for so many of us. And I don't think you have to be Jewish today to be upset and be hurt and be heartbroken. But thank God everyone's okay. Thank God the response was great. But it's truly just a crazy world we live in right now, and we've got to adjust. But we can't give up the hope and love to try to come together in any way we can.
And Danny, that is such a great perspective to have, to continue to have gratitude, to continue to hope for just more love and understanding. But can you tell me how it feels on a day-to-day basis? I don't want to say, do you live in fear, but what is it like for you, as it seems that there are more and more attacks? And you mentioned, I go to temple here, I don't expect for this to happen. But is that something that lives in the back of your mind as a possibility?
Yeah, I mean, it's something, like I said, I hate the term new normal, but that's kind of where we're at. I think we all know that.
Sure.
But that being said, guys, it's one of those things where if you live in fear, and I know this is kind of the old adage, but it's the truth. If you live in fear, you're letting the bad people win.
Well, and they didn't today, Danny. I only interrupt politely because we have to go to Dave Spencer, who's live. But Danny Leach, we're glad you're okay. We're glad your family's okay, and we're certainly glad the whole community is okay. We do thank you very generously for your time here today. Dave Spencer, you have someone who you're talking to right now. What do you got?
Yeah, Rup here. I'm back here at Greenbrier and Walled Lake. Again, the police presence is staggering here. And this is a neighborhood, and clearly there are neighbors here, Jamie Vaughn being one of them, who runs a business out of the home that's just less than a block from where this all transpired. Kind of walk me through your day, when you noticed something was going on, and kind of your reaction to all of it.
I think about 12:50, 1 o'clock, I was having a meeting with my secretary, and I just kept hearing police cars pass, and I just kept counting, and the number just kept growing. And I'm like, maybe an accident. And then they just kept growing. So I came outside, and they just would not stop. And I said, something happened. And I heard the officers, they just kept jumping out of the cars and loading up. And they said, active shooter, shots fired.
Well, when they said those words, what was going through your mind, knowing how close this scene was to where you were?
When I saw them cut through the trees, I thought it was something was happening to somebody's house. Then somebody's possibly going to be on the loose. And I had no idea what to think, and the cars were still coming.
Yeah, and they kept on coming. And you said that even though they were parked here a few blocks away, officers were getting out, arming up, and running towards the scene.
Yes, they were running, and they weren't saying anything to anybody because a couple neighbors came out. Mainly it was just myself at first. And then I decided to go back in the house, and there on the news, they said active shooter. I was like, at the temple, I said, oh my gosh. And then more, I guess, families started coming out, and they were stationed here on the sidewalk talking to officers. And I heard the officer, he got kind of loud with them, and it seemed like one mom was frantic. And then all of a sudden they just started running that way.
So these are the parents you were saying, or family members of the kids that were involved in that daycare getting those instructions?
Right, because when I went back in the house, I heard something happened in the daycare, so I was assuming these were parents of the kids.
And then they just took off running, and you can imagine, as any parent would want to know that their child's okay, you could certainly sympathize and empathize with everything they were going through.
Yes, absolutely. I was like, why is this happening? And nothing like this has ever happened over here, and I'm still just in shock.
And you mentioned to me that it just didn't stop. They one police after another, and they still continue to show up even as we're speaking now.
Yes, and I was just like, wow, this is really, really serious. And I saw on the news that it was on fire, and I was like, oh my gosh, and they still just kept coming.
And just to give people a little perspective of how far you are from the temple, it is what, a block, maybe at that?
Probably less.
A minute walk.
Yes.
Wow. And as you're kind of processing this, have police or anybody come up to you, said anything to you at this point?
No, because after the sirens on the phones went off saying to take shelter, we just stayed in the house.
And that's what you did. You listened to those orders. What do you think about this response? I mean, does this restore your faith?
I still have never seen, and then this many officers show up this fast. And when my client was able to get here, because he was due to be back here way before that, the driver said that he saw officers coming from Southfield. So I was like, wow, they are on it.
Yeah, we see ATF, Michigan State Police, officers from all over, a mobile command unit right in front of your driveway there. Have you ever seen anything quite like this?
Never.
Unbelievable. Jamie.
We got some updates off the screen. I'm just going to read it off screen here. Apparent explosives found in the back of the vehicle, law enforcement say. So again, that's something that we've all been wanting to know. When he drove his car into the hallway, he bashed through the front doors basically of this synagogue, drove down the hallway. What was he trying to do? What was he trying to attempt to do? Right? So again, very, very interesting, right? So again, according to CNN, because we don't only watch Fox News here, guys. Somebody over here saying Fox News coverage only here. Nope. We're looking at it. Let me show you proof positive so you can see it. CNN, because I already know all y'all get in your feelings whenever I watch one thing a little bit too long. Okay. But we cover we talk about every the news is giving us the information, I read it. Okay. So CNN is giving us this information. See how strange that is? You got Fox and you got CNN on the same page at the same time. It's off-putting. It's throwing me off, actually. Okay. But anyway, it says here, according to CNN, completely different outlet, just so you know, emergency responders found what appeared to be a large amount of explosives in the back of the vehicle, according to multiple law enforcement officials briefed on the scene. Law enforcement is working to clear the vehicle of any explosives, Oakland County Sheriff Bouchard said. That effort is a work in progress, he said. Something caught fire inside the vehicle. So it could have been like the engine or something like that. It could have been anything. Or it could have been one of the explosives that he was trying to set off. That's possible too, right? Aerial images of the synagogue show dark smoke billowing out the top of the roof of the synagogue. We've got a significant number of bomb dogs on site, bomb techs on site as well. And that's what the sheriff said as well. Suspect was found gone. He was found dead inside the vehicle, according to CNN. Moving on. The suspect was found dead inside the vehicle at the synagogue in West Bloomfield Township, Michigan. Oakland County Sheriff Bouchard said no kids or staff were injured. Thank God. One security guard was taken to the hospital after they were hit by the vehicle. But they're saying that he's expected to recover, which is great freaking news. The law enforcement are now still working to clear the area, but they believe that they have accounted for everyone who was in the actual building. The suspect drove through the doors of the building, he said. At this point, officials believe there was only one person in the car, according to the sheriff. Security saw and engaged the person in gunfire, the sheriff said. So again, this synagogue was fully suited and booted, according to CNN. Now we're going to go over to Fox and see what they're doing as far as their live feed. And that's on Fox, just so you know. Yeah, we watch everything on this channel, okay? Especially some places don't cover things as much as other places. So we going to listen and watch and see. Now that I said Fox News, they said nah, and they just cut it out. They just said nah, we ain't gonna help Pascal out. Nah, it's not gonna happen. So just so you know. Because sometimes, like, especially with the Iran stuff, the war in Iran, there's so much coverage that's happening on Fox channels than there are on CNN, like on other channels. It's pretty insane if you ask me. So I don't understand why, but it is what it is. I get the source, I get the information in the news wherever I can get it by any means necessary. Okay. And then we come up with our opinions. All right. So chill, everybody. Okay. Shoot, I'll read something from ABC and some of y'all lose your minds. Oh my God, ABC. And I'm like, it's ABC. You got a problem with ABC? I'll read something from News Nation. Y'all trip about News Nation. I'm like, what? I can't read anything on this channel. Like nothing. Y'all, we get the news where we need to get the news. Okay. Tranquilo.
One security officer was hurt.
From Fox.
After being hit by that car. So, the moments that happened here as that car was approaching and rammed into Temple Israel. How security officers then came back out. Did this person try to ram the vehicle again, ram people again? All of that is going to become more clear as the investigators give us more information. But at this time, we can tell you all of the children are safe. The people inside of Temple Israel are safe as well. The person who did this is dead. And so from the FBI in Washington,
he gone, y'all. He gone. Okay. This monster that was trying to do some bad things at this synagogue. Insane, right? Insane that that's actually happening. Okay, or that actually happened. And thank God he wasn't successful, because if he was successful, this would have been even worse. He had explosives in the back of that car. So he was blazing through that hallway in his car, trying to get somewhere. And maybe he was trying to detonate. You never know. But maybe his stuff was so bad. Maybe he was so bad at putting together those boom booms that he just couldn't be. He just wasn't. Thank God he wasn't successful, because it would have been really bad. You had kids in there, guys. You had kids. Okay. No women, no children. Okay. The hell is wrong with people, man? Real talk. What's wrong with people? And here's the thing, guys. This is just the beginning. They keep on saying, oh, sleeper cells being activated, all that. Well, I think it's already happening now. This was clearly an S booming. A suicide bomber. You get what I'm saying? Because I can't say that word or those words, period. But you get what I'm saying. The not esual, Uline armor kind of thing. You see what I'm saying? That's clearly what it sounds like to me. It didn't seem like that active monster was gonna, run out of there alive. I think he knew that he was not coming out of that place. I think he didn't think he was coming out of that place in one piece. And I'm not trying to be funny. I think he knew exactly what he was going to do, and he knew he was going to sacrifice his life to make that thing happen. Thank God whatever he was trying to detonate, maybe he was trying to detonate it, it just didn't work. Thank God he was terrible at his job. But if he was successful, this would have been catastrophic. And you got kids in there too. This is the reason why I keep asking, is this in retaliation of what happened in the very beginning of this war in Iran, with that elementary school filled with young girls just going to school, and they just lost their life due to a Tomahawk missile dropping on them out of nowhere. By the way, an American, that was U.S. That was a U.S. missile. It wasn't Iran. It wasn't Israel. It was an American missile. Sure, it was a mistake. Sure, it was a miscalculation. But nonetheless, it still did take out several people, and most of them kids, little girls. So maybe what's going on here right now, what we're seeing today at this synagogue, is in retaliation of that. That's just me doing the math. That's just me doing reverse math. But there's no proof of that. It's not like this guy left a note. It's not like he, that we know of so far. All right. But if you notice, this could be the new wave that could be coming up here very soon. So I'm hoping that all synagogues are being very careful right now. And they're amping up security. They should have already been ramping up security, but I hope that they have started right now. Time is of the essence, period. But let me get some of these super chats here, guys. Unfortunately, I won't be able to be here for the whole 2 hours in waiting for the press conference, but hopefully I'll be back a little bit later on this evening, and we'll be able to talk about it and watch that press conference together. The other thing too is that there's so much that I wanted to talk to you guys about what's going on in Iran, and I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys about it really. So we will be talking about that at some point. tonight as well, God willing. Okay. But let me get some of these super chats here really quick. Super May, thank you so much for the love. Thank you, Pascal, for bringing us the latest, of course, anytime. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate the support. Corey, what's up, man? Thank you so much for being a member for the past over a year now. That's awesome. Let's stop the madness. I agree. You got a situation that happened at a university in Virginia, and now you got a synagogue. And I don't know, what if what happened in Virginia was to offset and throw people off what was about to go down at the synagogue? What if they were working together? I know that sounds weird. That might sound insane, but what if? What if everybody was going to be like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on over here?" And everyone's focused on Virginia and Old Dominion University, when in actuality, the real bad thing was happening. You see what I'm saying? Or it's just like, hey, we're just going to cause havoc at the same time. Let's go, right? Kind of scary. But yeah, I agree. Stop the madness. Stop the madness, y'all. Rich Buddy, thank you so much for the love. Support for Israel is anti-American ideology. Whoa, okay. That is a statement. Rich Buddy, thank you so much for the super chat. Moving on. Dovey, thank you so much. You have two of them. In fact, you have a couple of them, so we're going to go through them. Thank you so much for the super chats. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I live in West Bloomfield, a high-income area. Oh, so you're rich. Okay, girl. We get it. Okay, Dovey. Okay. Thank you so much for letting us know your ducats. I appreciate it. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But it's a high-income area with many Jewish and Arab residents. Nearby synagogues and temples often have armed security and police. That's what's up. I didn't know that. West Bloomfield stays prepared for situations like this. So they don't play. They don't play. Okay, Dovey, I see you. Thank you. Okay, the person got pew-pewed. Thank you. I'm assuming by armed security. That's what it sounds like now that they're confirming as well. I got the active shoot message on my phone. Yes, the hallways are that big. I vote there. That's what's up. So the hallways are massive. They must be massive. You got a car driving down the hallway. It's like tall and wide hallways. Yeah, it's a nice area. The area is nice. Dovey, thank you so much for being a member for the past 43 months. I appreciate it. That's a long time. Well over 3 years. That's amazing. Thank you so much for your support. So the Detroit area is one of the most prominent places where Arab and Jewish people exist outside the Middle East. Across from Chaldean Country Club. Okay, so very affluent, very, well-to-do, upper middle class, if not upper class area. So deep pockets, Jewish and Arab people living in the same place at the same time. Oy, oy, oy. Oy. Oy, 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 oy. Okay. That could be a recipe for disaster. I mean, depending on what's going on here, right? It could be bad. But we'll see what happens. Reed, thank you so much for the love. There's another one in Detroit. Are you talking about the Old Dominion University? Or are you talking about a completely different shooting that happened in Detroit? Because if that happened in Detroit, a second one, that is insane. That is insane. Prayers and peace for those affected. Thank you so much, Rachel, for being a member for over a year as well. 14 months, long time. Prayers and peace for those affected by this tragedy. Yes. And this should affect us all. Like every single tragedy, every single mass tragedy that we've ever covered on this channel, on this show, or just seen in passing, should affect us all to a certain extent, right? It should inspire us to be more aware, inspire us to try to find ways to have less of this at our schools or at certain events and whatnot, right? See, this is the thing I worry too, because I'm going to say it now too. I know a lot of people are going to be celebrating St. Patty's Day this weekend because St. Patty's Day is in the middle of the week. A lot of places are going to start celebrating St. Patty's Day this weekend. There's going to be a large amounts of gatherings in various places. This is something that concerns me. that people are going to go out of their way to start acting a fool, doing bad things for the sake of because of it being a national holiday, right? That people go and celebrate. Shoot, people take it so seriously. They're drinking and eating green eggs and ham. Real talk, first thing in the morning, drinking green beer and wearing green all day long. That's how serious they take it. And half of these mother lovers not even have not one drop of Irish in them. Okay. It's a huge event. Everyone goes out for it for the most part. That's something that concerns me. Sure, a synagogue got hit, but that's a massive, massive event where people get together to hang out, kick it, drink, and be merry. And one thing I'm worried about is that could inspire sleeper cells to start popping off out of nowhere. You see what I'm saying? And I think they still dye the river in Chicago. Yeah, I think they still do that, Amy. Yeah. So again, that's something that concerns me. Last I checked, they still did the dyeing of the river, but maybe they don't. I don't know. Okay. But that's something that should be concerning to all of us, right? Mimi, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really do appreciate that. Again, this is something that we should all be concerned about, period. We should all be affected and should also feel inspired to try to find ways to stop these kinds of things from happening. And I don't know what that answer is, like how to quell something from happening. You know what I mean? But at the same time, this should all affect us, all of us, all that we're seeing. And it should consistently make us very aware of our surroundings. But this is the reason why I see more and more people not going out anymore. They're like, shoot, the only places I'm going are family events, and that's it. Huge gatherings, you got another thing coming. I ain't going to nowhere. I'm good. I'm chilling right here. And it's sad. Because people are ridding themselves of human experiences because of fear of their own safety. But this is the world that we are living in right now. In situations like this that are now happening pretty much like this is day to day. Yesterday we had something. Today we had two of them. What's going to happen tomorrow? What's going to happen the rest of the day? These things are very concerning. This should concern all of us. No joke. They should concern all of us. And it's crazy because I have so many windows up for a whole completely different show. Completely different show. And I'm going to have to do that another time because we had two different shootings. Two different terrorist attacks happening. Almost back to back in America. Please be safe out there, guys. I can't urge that enough. Something is definitely afoot. And I think a lot of it has to do with what's going on in Iran. Here's the other thing, too. Yeah, sleeper leprechauns. I'm done. Top of the morning to you. And boom. Like, that's insane. That's just straight up insane. I hope that's not the case. Okay? I really hope that's not the case. That is some diabolical stuff. But let me just say this really quick. Please be safe out there because people are absolutely knucking futs right now. My concern is this one right here, this one in synagogue, at the synagogue here at Temple Israel, not very, it wasn't successful. But that doesn't mean they won't continue trying. Just remember that. And everything that's going on in Iran, they clearly are trying to make the Americans feel what the Iranians are feeling as well. I think that's something that we have to remember too. They're targeting schools or targeting synagogues with schools attached to them. we should be very worried. Because the next time it may not be a synagogue. It might be a school, or just a regular school, or an event. So be safe out there, guys. Okay? But that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Really means a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do me a favor before we head out. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do it a do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, make sure you hit that follow button. Subscribe here on my YouTube channel. Subscribe, please. We're less than 200 subscribers away from 200,000 subscribers. It's amazing. So please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell, set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because honestly, it's random. Or whenever I can get on here, or if it's breaking news, I get on here, okay? So please make sure you do that. Hit that join button down below, become a member. Check out my Patreon, and of course, check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com, we got some really great stuff over there. Go check it out, baby. PascalMerch.com. Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Be safe out there, guys. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.